let's go ahead and turn that off and get things going. What is going on, everyone? Oh my goodness, my heart is broken. My head is broken. So many things are broken. This family's broken. These characters are despicable. The family. Can you trust anyone? Is my question for you all. Whew, I am in my feelings tonight, y'all. Episode 6 of House of the Dragon was fantastic. Goodness gracious, man. What's up, everyone? Thank you to everyone that watched tonight's live stream for our watch party. It was awesome, as it always is. Thanks to you all. Man, I am Lena. I'm heartbroken, y'all. Harwin. Goodness gracious, a strong family is just as despicable and untrustworthy as these Targaryens, man. Love this show, but I love y'all, man. What's going on to everyone in the chat? Let me say what's up to everyone first before we get things going. My goodness, we got so many people in the chat showing some love. I can't thank you guys enough for shout out to Fresh, who joined the first watch along tonight and joining us on this after show. So shout out to you. Hope you had a good time. Hope you have a good time with tonight's discussion. You are a Targaryen and all that. Ooh-wee. Yeah, it was I was on camera, Kimmy, so I didn't want to, shed a tear just to, I want to make sure y'all know we we ain't crying over here. No, I'm joking. I've cried many times on live streams, but I held the tears back tonight because I might cry when we talk about it, man. R.I.P. to some characters that I thought was going to be pivotal characters, but boy, how did I forget? This is Game of Thrones, Elliot. You can't get too attached, and they showed that tonight, man. What's going on, Meg? Did you guys see? No, I haven't. Fresh. I haven't seen the trailer, but I will be doing my trailer breakdown. I do those every Monday, so keep an eye out for that. I'm going to watch the trailer tomorrow morning and do a breakdown for it, but I haven't seen it yet, but I assume it's pretty juicy. Elliot watched it. Oh, man. Y'all got me want to play this trailer. I'm going to do it later tonight, though, because like I said, every Monday I do my trailer breakdown for the new episode. I say this every week, but Eric, man, it's a broken record at this point, right? It's a fantastic show. Best episode so far. What's going on to my man G? Mac, what's going on, Mac? Hope you can join us tonight. I'm going to be sharing that link. As you all know, this is our live after show in which we obviously break down the episode, talk about the pros and the cons, everything in between, but we also do live call-ins, y'all. So if you want to share your opinions on tonight's episode, like the thumbnail says, live call-in. So in a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and share the link for you all to join the stream. So talk about your emotions. This is why we're here. Share your opinions, what you liked, what you didn't like. Did you tear? Did you shed a tear? Did you cry for some characters we lost? That's what we were doing here tonight. So, like I said, in just a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and share that link. But I just want to say what's up to everyone before we get the party started. Oh man, Rhaenyra. Let me know in the chat. By the way, we're gonna talk about this a little bit later, but let me know in the chat. Are you, team? Let me find some photos for y'all right quick. I just need to know where we stand. Are we team black, Rhaenyra? Let me know in the chat by putting a black heart in the chat or, putting the word black. Are you team black, which is Rhaenyra and her family and her side? Okay, that's team A. I'll let y'all know who I'm on a little bit later. Or are you team green, which is obviously Allison? Again, just a little recap. Let me know in the chat. Put it in the chat now with a heart, a black heart or a green heart. Or just put the word black or green, but let me know. Are you team green or are you team black? Let me know in the chat. If you're the opposite, I am wearing the green tonight, but also you can see there's a little black in there. So I'm confusing y'all. Y'all don't know who I'm repping. I'll let, if you watch the watch along, you know who team I'm on. I'll always be on that team, but we'll talk about that later, but let me know who team are you on. And also, man, Daemon, Father Daemon. Are y'all liking this new side of him? A father, a husband, a diplomat, maybe making some moves. Speaking of husband, I'm heartbroken. Lena, I mean, come on, guys. First off, this actress was her grace, her presence, her screen charisma, her cadence and her voice, the mothery nature that she provided in the scenes that she was a mother to her daughter who hasn't had her egg cracked, talking to her husband. This is definitely the daughter of Corlys and Rhaenys because, that bond that we saw with those couples, which we didn't get them in this episode. And I'm very curious to know how they feel about their daughter losing her life. Man, I'm heartbroken, y'all. I love this actress. Number one, she was fantastic. Number two, gorgeous as hell. But again, her performance was fantastic and she was taken away from us way too soon. I know the book readers were like, man, don't get too attached, bro. As I should know as a Game of Thrones fan, but man, I'm heartbroken. Speaking of heartbroken, y'all, I was sitting here thinking, man, we about to get Harwin and Kristen fighting for the next, decade, going at each other's throats. Nah, man. His brother has something to say about that. Goodness gracious. This son of this SOB here. I'm sitting here thinking that Otto is the next little finger of the show. I'm thinking Otto is the next big bad. And he may well be that, in coming episodes, because it seems like he's gonna be back in that Hand of the King pretty soon. But this son of a mother, you're talking about, twisting Allison's words. Like, I did not put that death hit on, man. This slime ball son of a gun here, y'all. I'm on one tonight, man. I'm in my feelings, man. Shout out to the father, RIP. They burned by fire. And we're going to talk about that scene later, but the parallels of seeing Damon saying goodbye. Well, he didn't really say goodbye to his wife, unfortunately, but the parallels of him losing his wife and obviously the mother of his children, and then seeing that being paralleled to seeing Rhaenyra telling, Harwin that he has to go, and ultimately he died. It seems like they're both single now. We'll see what comes of that. But oh my goodness, man. The show is the writing, the performances. If you guys joined the watch along, I mentioned it during the watch along. Within literally minutes of seeing Rhaenyra. If you've been following this channel for these breakdowns every week, I mentioned how I was nervous about this time jump, which I still have my issues with some of the moments that we missed out on. But my thing was, man, Rhaenyra's amazing. This actress Millie is incredible. How is Emma, who, I mentioned, I'm a fan of the one product I've seen her in, but I'm like, I'm nervous, man, because I'm in love with Rhaenyra. I love the performance. I love her dominance, and just I don't know how I'm gonna take on this new version of the character. But god damn it, was I wrong, because her giving her birth, her just giving birth, blood dripping out of her, and knowing that Allison wants to see the baby, she's like, it's a power move. If I don't go there without my child, I'm showing weakness. I'm showing that she has control. So she just gave birth, walking up the stairs, has her husband right there, who we'll talk about him in the breakdown when we get our guest on. Him, doing his things, and we'll talk about him, but just walking up to the queen, having that tension there that we didn't see on screen, unfortunately, the 10 years of this buildup. But within minutes, man, I was already like, yep, this is my queen. This is, which I guess I already gave you guys who I represent, Team Black all day. Never going to change unless she does something pretty crazy, which I don't think she will, because I always trust in my queen. I have a good sense in characters, and I love Rhaenyra, man. She was fantastic. And again, speaking of fantastic, y'all, I already knew Olivia Cook. I've been following her since Me, Earl, and Dying Girl. I knew she was going to be fantastic, but seeing her in this episode as Allison was great as well. She is her father's daughter, right? She took those last words that Otto told her: you must get Aegon on that throne, because if you don't, your life's in danger and your kid's life's in danger. And she is making sure that her Aegon is on that throne. This was great, man. This was great. Let me stop my babbling. We're going to get into the breakdown. Let me go ahead and share the link with you all so we can get some guests in here. Again, if you want to join, I welcome anyone and everyone, as long as you're respectful. Obviously, number one. Number two, make sure you have, a little light set up, a mic. It doesn't have to be the perfect mic. It can be your headset mic. You got a camera. And you can join the chat. I always welcome people to come on and have some fun with me tonight. So let's see if we can get some people on and have a conversation. Let me get the link set up here. Give me a second, guys. Again, while I'm getting all that all set up, shout out to y'all, because there are so many great content creators on YouTube that are doing what I'm doing right now, which is this live after show. And the fact that you all have tuned in and showing some love, it means the world to me. So shout out to y'all for being dope. Hope y'all had a great week. Hope y'all have a great week coming up. And you guys are awesome. So, and just a friendly reminder, if you're here, hit that like button. It means a lot, goes a long way. And share it too. And of course, leave your thoughts in the comments, y'all. Link to tonight's stream. All right. Let me get the link set up. We should be good. All right. So if anyone wants to join, click that link in the chat. I just pinned it. So go ahead if you want to join me and share your thoughts, your opinions, your pros, your cons, your theories, all that stuff. Go ahead and click that link and come and join me, and let's talk about it. So, oh man, what an episode. What a show, man. somehow they managed to. Again, I do wish there were moments like I would have loved to have seen Vagar and Lena, her picking the dragon, and that scenes like that. Obviously, Damon and their relationship growing, their 3 kids. There's a lot of stuff I would have liked to have seen, but here we are. Here we are. And speaking of here we are, we got some people joining me that I'm excited to bring back onto the show. Let me just bring them in. Talk about my man Eric and my man G. How we doing, gentlemen?
You're
good. That was another. I'm going to say it every week. That was probably my favorite one.
Heartbreaker is for sure, G. Yeah, and you definitely, Eric, you have been saying it, man. Every week it's just like it's builds, and it all comes to just fantastic television, man. Before we get into the discussion, gentlemen, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Eric, I'm gonna start with you first. Why don't you let the people know who you are and where they can find your content, man?
Yeah. So I'm Eric, and my channel is Eric Thorpe Reviews, and you can find that on YouTube and Instagram. And yeah, I'll probably be having some videos coming soon. It's been a little while, but
yes. Awesome, man. I'm gonna go around the table here to hear who's everyone, who's who. We got some blacks, we got some greens. We're gonna talk about that here in a second to see where our alliances lay. But G, man, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm great. I love Sundays.
Sundays are the best, man. Sundays are the best. But hey, man, do me a favor. Why don't you let the people know who you are, where they can find your content, man?
Yo, so my name is G. I love having conversations about movies, TV shows, anime. You can find my channel at JohnnyPappas Reviews on everything. And then also I got a podcast called The Wine Geek Show where me and one of my best friends who a lot of times have different opinions when it comes to stuff. We hash out all the newest shows and movies coming out. So definitely check your boy out. And I'm excited to get this thing going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I got my man Johnny in the back room. Johnny, let me know when you're all good, my friend, and we'll get you on the stream here. But starting with you, Eric, I just want to just get it off the bat because if you're on the opposite side of me, man, I might have to kick you off, man. What team are you repping, Eric? Who are you, team black or team green, my friend?
I mean, look, I'm like a bit of both, I think. But I mean, yeah, I'm probably team black. But I'm just like a little bit team green because like Olivia Cook is just so good.
Fantastic, man. All right, so we got a half, but I think he's leaning a little bit towards more black. G, questions to you, man. What team are you repping, man? Are we team Renier over here or team Allison?
I'm team black, baby. You know what I'm saying? I love everything is black. Yeah, I love everything about what has been going on. I'm not gonna lie. I agree with Eric with like sometimes during the episode, like depending on who on screen, sometimes like I'll be like, oh no, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Allison is kind of spitting right now. But when they in the same room together, it's just like, nah, I'm going with Renier every time.
It's hard, man. I love Renier. I'm team, right away. If you guys don't know, I'm team black all day, every day. Renier is the rightful queen, if you ask me. But yeah, man, I think what you guys are saying, I totally agree with you all as far as feeling Allison and where she's coming from. And kudos to Olivia Cook, man. She is fantastic. I knew she was going to kill it. I mean, I've been watching her, like I mentioned up top, Me, Earl, and Dying Girl. Of course, a lot of us know her from Ready Player One and just various different projects. She always knows the assignment, and she's doing her thing as Allison, man. I'm really enjoying it. But again, Team Black over here. But my man Johnny's ready to go. We're going to get Johnny in the chat. What's going on, man?
Hey, good to be here again.
Yes, sir. I gotta, Johnny, before we get to giving us where your content can be found, and I need to know, Johnny, who you're repping, man. Who's your team, man?
100% Team Black.
There you go.
Guy, guys. That's my guy. Go. Yep. Johnny, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people at home, man. Let them know who you are, where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm a screenwriter and filmmaker in San Diego, and all of my links are below. And most of my social media is JohnnyPappas, so check me out there. Follow me on Twitter. Let's have a talk.
Yes, sir. Well, speaking of having a talk, gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Eric. Just general thoughts on this episode. It was the longest of the season so far. We got that 10-year time jump that we know was right around the corner, and here we are. Did it deliver for you, Eric?
Absolutely. Like I said, every week I pretty much said it's my favorite. They're all very close. But yeah, I was really excited just when I saw on HBO tonight that it was like an extra 15 minutes, a little longer. I just, the way especially it started, I think that was a quick way to just kind of bring you into where Renee is now with birth, how she's going through her mother went through and what she's been fearing this whole time. We're finally at that point. And I think, yeah, and even aside that she was, the way they like built up and introduced Olivia Cook's version of Allison was like, I think really masterfully done. Like, and kind of walk like to see the queen, how she wants to see the baby and everything. And yeah, just all across the board. And then I think I've been like kind of having read the book. I was like kind of waiting for Damon to be a bit more than just terrible all the time.
Chaos of
finally in the episode, I'm like, okay, like okay, I think he's mellowed out of it. I think I'm gonna be able to kind of root for him forward because he's very much Team Black, you know. So
yeah,
you're gonna want to root for him soon.
Yeah, man, I totally. And Eric, I don't know, is it just me? Is Eric's internet cutting in and out on you guys' end too, or is it just my end?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
okay,
kind of frozen.
Yeah, you're a little laggy, Eric.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming in. And you're like a little delayed. But while you figure that out, Eric, I'm gonna toss it over to you, G. Kind of bouncing off what Eric just said, and I totally agree with him. I think when you have children, which was the big theme of this episode, we met the kids, we met the parents, obviously. Kids change you, and I think we see that with Damon. He's a much different, reserved, kind of diplomatic individual. I like this more calm, less chaotic version of Damon, but also like all of these parents, if I'm being honest with you, G. But your thoughts, just general opinion on the episode before we really get into it.
They was definitely popping out babies. Everybody got about like 3-4 babies, and some time has definitely passed. So like maturity, happens with that, and after this episode, it's no longer House of the Dragons, it's House of Time Skips. But as far as like Damon specifically, I don't know if it's like true growth, just because of like the conversations that one of his children had with Lenora, more so than is it still like I realize the situation I'm in. And I still want more, but I'm trying to figure it out. So I feel like he's still trying to figure himself out along with everything that's going on. But as far as like, Rhaenyra having her third child and like Allison's attitude toward her children, it's just like, oh, the beef is real. Like it's crazy. So man, tension definitely was super high in this joint.
Tension was fantastic, and like you say, the families of they have their children again. You got to protect what's yours. If we learned anything from Game of Thrones, everyone had their own kind of reasons to do what they did, but most of it was driven because of family and legacy. And we're seeing all these different parents protect their own in the worst ways, and we see one of the kids, and we see what happens when you protect your kids. Sometimes they end up burning you at the end, which we'll talk about the Strong family, which is just as messy as these Targaryens. But Johnny, man, same question for you, just your general opinion on this episode. Did it work? Did it kind of lack for you? Is it the worst of the bunch? How you feel about it?
No, I think it's one of the better of the bunch. It worked really well for me. I like seeing where the lines seem to be getting a little bit redrawn every time, and now it looks like the lines are going to be redrawn again with Rhaenyra's exodus, to exodus from the keep, and I just really enjoyed all the politics and the conniving, and my gosh, that Larys is just he's this guy's pure evil.
Man, pure evil is not even the word, man. I'm sitting.
It's like maybe you should have cut their hands off too, because they can write what they did instead of like he gets these guys out of prison, has their tongues cut out, and sends them on a mission. Wow.
Supposed to be your brother's keeper, man. It's crazy,
man. We're going to talk about him because I'm sitting here thinking, Otto's the next, which he may be the next, kind of Littlefinger, if you want to call him that. But yeah, right now, Larys, is that his name? Larys, Larys Strong. Oh my goodness, man. He just the look. Just look at this face, y'all. I mean, when you look at the guy's face, he doesn't look like a trustworthy individual. I mean, just come on, the smug, the cane. And what is his little sigil? Is it a beetle? Is it what
I
is
think
it?
it's a beetle.
A beetle?
I've been calling it a beetle.
Like that.
Man. But let's just jump right into it, gentlemen. Starting with you, Eric. And the internet's looking good, man. You're looking smooth, man.
Okay.
We opened this episode with a very interesting way. I mentioned it during the watch along that it's very interesting that we're seeing Rhaenyra 10 years later giving birth to, which I think was her third child now. And interestingly enough, we ended episode 1 with the birth, well, her mother's demise. So very interesting parallels there. And right off the back, Eric, I had my reservations. I was a little bit nervous about these older versions of the characters, but immediately I fell in love with this older version of Rhaenyra. Just the strength, the power of her, just giving birth, going up those stairs, knowing that if she doesn't show up with her child in front of Alicent, that's a sign of weakness. Your thoughts, Eric, on how they open this episode, and were you immediately like, oh yeah, this is great casting, this is perfect casting from the little Rhaenyra to now the adult version?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like I said, the way it brings you in was the perfect kind of, I think, way to introduce this older version of her. And honestly, I never really had any doubts. I don't know, like Game of Thrones, not just this show, but this whole franchise, like they've never like really missed once with the casting, I don't think. So I think she was great. I know some people are probably going to prefer Millie Alcock just for the fact that I think she was playing her at a more quote unquote like fun time in her life.
Yeah, more rebellious.
And, Emma Darcy's got to be more just serious, and
right.
She's more leaning towards like the Daenerys side of her now, and she's kind of lost all that Arya side that we kind of mentioned she had earlier on. And I think she's great. And personally, I think they're probably about equally good, but personally, I kind of like just the more mature Rhaenyra now, and I kind of like it worked. It was what the story needed earlier, but I'm kind of like I had my fill with all the teen antics personally, so I'm ready for this more kind of serious Rhaenyra.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only just that, but a mother, a wife, a princess, a queen to be. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Eric. It wasn't that I doubted Emma's range, because I've seen her in one particular project I thought she was pretty good in, Truth Seekers. But I was just, like you had mentioned, we just saw young Rhaenyra at such a different time in her life, and she just gave us so much in that role. But right, like I said, right off the bat, man, I was already like, yep, I'm on board. Johnny, your thoughts on this new version, not necessarily this new version, but the older version, this mother giving birth and being the opening scene. And what is this, the third birth that we got in this series so far? I think they broken a record with 2 births in one episode. Your thoughts, Johnny?
Yeah, I just really appreciated how strong she was, and how she stood up to the queen. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't believe that the queen wanted to see the baby right away.
Right away, like come on,
right away.
Allison.
It's like what is wrong with you? That when if I was doing a reaction, I would have flipped my lid. You would see me flipping my. I was like, what's wrong with this chick? She wants to see the baby right away. And the casting is so
spot on, man.
Good.
Yeah.
I had some concerns because they've been going around on these tours doing these interviews.
Yeah.
And they goof around so much, these 2 actresses.
Yeah.
And they're having a lot of fun
mm-hmm.
together, but their performances were so great. And it's funny because I had a friend ask me, hey, is that the same actress as the queen? I'm like, no, that's not the same actress, but it's
right.
Really,
they've waited 10 years for her to age up.
It's really good. It's really good casting. She looks just like her.
Yeah. She does. And to Eric's point, there is that rebellious teenage side that is still kind of there in this older version, just kind of the wits in which she said that she called with one of the nurses. It's still some of that Rhaenyra that we're used to, but obviously more reserved, more adult mom, and also got to keep her legacy alive. Tossing it to you, G, man, seeing this opening sequence, did you kind of immediately fall in love with this character, or do you still have maybe a little bit of hesitation with this new actress?
I don't think I had any hesitation, but I don't think I really fell in love until the council meeting. You know what I'm saying? Just because, like, I like the move of it's her showing her strength and taking the baby herself and
Mhm.
and trying to make it up the stairs and just being resilient in that effort, just because like perception is everything. So she
Yeah.
doesn't want to be perceived to be weak. And that was
Mhm.
just like some animal instinct type stuff. I was just like, okay, I rocks with that. But as far as like the fact that we did have two babies that tried to be born, I think even with Lenora, her, I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but
No, you're good.
her trying to give birth and just was like, nah, I can't go out like this. I was like, ain't no way they're gonna
Mm.
cut somebody else open again, So it was those two moments. I was like, I got a lot of respect for both of them.
Yeah.
And I think just her relationship with even um Lenore, and like they have an agreement, but it's just
Some
like
tension there.
you would, yes, there's definitely something there,
Yeah.
I'm saying, on both sides. So I'm just interested in seeing how they progress, as they go on a little trip. But
Yeah.
you
No, I
know,
agree, man. Yeah, I mean that just that opening moment of her being a mom, and again, like we all kind of agreed upon, if she doesn't go to the queen with the baby, it's game over. Not that she would have
mhm.
killed the baby by any means, but that would have fueled the fire to her rumors that she wanted to spread like a wildfire throughout this episode. But
Just want to
also
see
would
that
have just
hair.
been that hair, man. I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
obvious at this point, guys. I
Right.
mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, all Valerians have white hair. It's like
Right.
Rhaenyra. But serious, what's going on, guys? You can't lie to everyone. But man, it was again, I'm just really excited to get more of Rhaenyra, and obviously now with her losing her father of her children, and how that plays out, and now obviously Damon, and I love that parallel of those scenes of them losing their loved ones without much saying it. Was
Mhm.
really fantastic. But Johnny, man, tossing it back to you, seeing my thing about this 10-year gap, Johnny, was I want those more smaller, intimate moments. Vagar and Lenora, their scene that we missed, as far as the dragon picking its rider and whatnot. Obviously, the tension between Rhaenyra and Alicent. But for some reason, Johnny, when we see this scene between these two, Alicent and Rhaenyra, you can see those 10 years within that room. You can feel the tension. You can see the animosity, the anxiety, the hatred in the room. How did you feel this show so far, especially in this episode, handled that huge 10-year gap, especially with these two characters in this, war of fame?
I think they handled it well. I think what we got to see was the real tension that that is
There you go.
happening right now, and what is built up over the 10 years, especially in the part where she's talking about about the proposed marriage, um, and says we were friends before,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, yeah, you were friends before. What look at and we're able to see as the viewers, look at what has happened in the last 10 years between these two. They used to be friends. It looked like they
Yeah.
might have been becoming friends again for a little bit before Laris's treachery,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're on the path to being opposed to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I was very impressed by the because that is a lot to ask of an actor to, number one, step in the middle of the halfway through the season to kind of come into all this drama, all this animosity, and play it in a way that we obviously saw that off-screen development. I thought it was handled pretty well. Eric, do you feel the same, or do you feel like it was maybe a little bit it wasn't as fulfilling as far as really filling in those 10 years gaps, or did you feel like they did a good job of giving us what we missed out on off screen?
Yeah, no, I think they did a great job, and I think there's still probably, even in the next episode or two, we're gonna get a bit more to kind of fill in, that bit of that time jump some more. And yeah, no, I don't really feel like I missed out on too much. I mean, you don't want a show to just kind of come to a halt and just like kind of just to have every little moment. I mean, those little moments are important, but like, I mean, that I think just the show knows when to skip ahead. That's sort of what like makes it so engaging in a way too.
Right.
Like that's what makes it not Rings of Power, where it just kind of keeps
Shots.
crawling along.
Every week we got to bring it up, and I'm still haven't even seen the second episode, man. I still am on episode or finishing episode 1 and haven't. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I know the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones did do, like, took longer periods of time to, like,
Oh
sit
yeah,
in
take
certain
2
events.
episodes to get from one place to another. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. You do have to take into account the source material, and
Right.
it just is, you know, it's a much less, like, detailed source material in terms of, like, the individual events. So I think they're actually giving it, like, a lot more depth than it has in the book even. So for going from the book to this, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm getting so much more. So maybe that's why too. Because this is just, you know, again, I've said this every week, right? But it's a history book, and this is just a small section of it.
Right.
So, like, even last week, like, when Damon's wife gets killed, I think in the book it just literally says, oh, she died in, like, a hunting accident.
A hunting incident. Yeah.
So yeah, we don't actually know that Damon killed her in that. So yeah, no, I think it did a great job of filling things in and catching us up with, like, everyone and Damon and everything. And I think it just gives it some dramatic heft. I think it was the right point after what happened last episode. I think that was the right point to, like, jump ahead.
After the wedding.
Yeah, and that's why I'll still defend those later seasons of Game of Thrones, just because, I mean, they maybe took it too far, but I think there was something to be said about kind of ramping it up, especially near the end, just pacing wise. But yeah.
Gotcha, man. Johnny, man, your thoughts on, did you feel the absence of the 10 years, or did you feel like the show within these opening sequences, especially between Rhaenyra and Alicent, did you feel like they handled that time jump pretty properly, or do you wish that we maybe would have spent a little bit more time within that decade?
I think they handled it pretty well. I think they filled in some of the gaps, you know, by dialogue, and by the, you know, later on we see the children, and we, you know, we get to see what, you know, okay, so she's got 3 children now, and she's got 3 children, and you know, this one's here, this one's there. So I think it was handled pretty well. I didn't feel like I was missing anything that I needed to know about.
My only pushback before I get to you, G, the only thing I would say that the one scene that I felt was a little bit kind of forced to fill in and give you a little bit of, like, exposition was when we see Alicent a little bit later in the episode talking to Aegon about him being the, you know, the rightful heir to the throne, and he has to, you know, regardless of what your you know, how you feel about your cousins and of course your brother, you gotta protect your family. That moment, that scene kind of felt like, is this your first time telling your son this? Like, it feels like you tell him this every day. This is like your morning routine. He's jerking off in the middle of the window, and you got to remind him, like, what his destiny is. Like, I just feel like that scene was a little bit too on the nose for me. But besides that, I do feel like it handled that time jump pretty properly. What about you, G? Did you feel like it was any other scenes that maybe feels a little forced to you, that they had to give you that much needed exposition and maybe wasn't executed properly?
Maybe, I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my dome. I think that one you just said is a perfect example of it, though. Just because, you know, we're still getting used to seeing Alicent like this. You know, we're still getting introduced to Aegon. You know, Aegon was a baby in the last episode. So
He's a pervert.
right. So seeing those two interact, you know, you can see the like fear that he had in his eyes when she was telling him this. Like, so she must not have said it multiple times at this point. But one thing I did notice throughout the episode was, like, you know, yes, it's finna get mixy, but there's a lot of resentment, like built up resentment between a lot of these characters. Even in this scene right here, you know, the Alicent and Rhaenyra was just eyeing each other back and forth. And even when she took and gave the baby back to Lenore, she said, one of these days, maybe they'll have, like, the white hair or whatever.
Just throw that in there. Yeah, she just slid that in there.
You know, so it was just like, oh, I was like, okay, I see what type time we're on. So, you know, that in combination with just, like, the fight and, you know, just everybody knowing the truth, but because it can't come out, we're stuck in the middle of a rock and a hard place. And I honestly don't know what they could have shown in those 10 years, because nothing like a big battle happened. Like, we're back to the Stepstones being a thing, and Damon's getting offers and stuff now. So like the progression of the houses seems like it was pretty steady up until this point. So I don't know what we could have saw technically,
Good point. I mean, Eric brings it up too. I mean, especially from his perspective, being a book reader, I would assume that they don't show us this stuff because it's not needed. It doesn't progress the story. It doesn't enhance the story. It's just filler, But I'm still, I'm one of those people that still like to see certain things and see certain potential conversations to be had. But speaking of just kind of uncertainty, at this point, guys, Viserys has the blood of a vampire or a zombie. I mean, Johnny, man, my man's walking around looking like, Dracula hasn't drinking blood in 2 weeks, man. Like, come on. How is this man still surviving, Johnny?
He lost his arm, I think, right? He lost that one arm, I think.
Oh, did I miss that? Is he missing an arm, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. How the hell?
At least the sleeve was real long. Either that or the sleeve was long.
Okay.
I seen it too. I seen it too.
Part of the arm, maybe. But, yeah, so... yeah, I'm kind of wondering. I expected him to be gone by episode 3, and I know Mac's happy that he's still alive.
Yeah, Mac. Yeah,
Mac is real happy that he's still alive.
Right.
But I keep saying to myself he can't be long for this world, but he keeps going, and I'm wondering if it's going to be what eventually is going to take him down.
Whenever it happens, it's going to be on the most inconvenient time. It's going to be like some agreement, some alliance is going to happen, and as soon as we need the king's approval, it's kaput. He's going to finally kick the bucket. But, Eric, man. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
I'm sorry, but and he's now getting his wife to tell him over my dead body, pretty much. Yep. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah. I loved it. Before we move on to Eric, we got one of my favorite people joining us again to share her awesome opinions. Well, I think she's still getting situated, but once you're ready, Meg, I will. Oh, good to go. Well, let me bring her in. I'm talking about the one and only Meg. What's going on, Meg?
Hey, y'all.
Welcome. How are you doing on this very sad evening? We lost some characters. We got some family drama. We got some babies coming out, some dragons. How you feeling tonight, Meg?
It was good, y'all. It was good. It was my favorite episode. And I saw early on, just from all of the different setting changes we kept getting that I wasn't expecting. The boys training with the young dragons.
Yeah.
Going and peeping at the dragon. All of those little details is what made it for me. And also Allison's conversation she had with what are we calling him, y'all?
What the little finger or the little
Beetle
finger
man
or the beautiful?
Yeah, I don't want to sound ableist.
yeah, my man with he's something else. He's something else.
Yeah,
man.
there's no good way to call him.
Yeah, Laris is a.
Actually, in the he is known as the Clubfoot. That's a thing.
Clubfoot. Okay.
So
gotcha. Perfect name. Somebody to hit him over the head.
That's accurate. That's medically accurate, at least.
Yeah.
Hey Eric. Hey Johnny. Hey G.
Yo.
Meg, before we get more of your thoughts, for people maybe tuning in for the first time, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your platforms and where people can find you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Meg. My platform is Easier Said with Meg. I realized that it was misspelled all last week. Sorry about that. We will be talking about whatever is on my mind, and I also post roller skating tutorials. So, yeah, follow me.
Yes. Do so. But we got your thoughts, Meg, on how you felt about the episode, but kind of catching up to where we are now. Did you feel the 10-year time jump was handled well? Did you feel like there was some missed moments or scenes you would have liked to have spent more time in? How did you feel about the handling of that huge time jump that we got?
No, yeah, I was listening to you guys, and it seems like it would just be baby after baby after baby. I mean, like you said, everybody had 3-4 babies, and then Viserys, I was like, Viserys is blessed. I think about my grandmother, and this dude is seeing his grandkids, and great grandkids and grand nephews, and they all
man.
intertwine. I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, Damon's beautiful family. I know. Oh, Elliot, I'm hurt. Oh, I'm hurt.
Oh man,
Oh, I'm hurt.
that
We'll talk about
that
that
stings.
later.
Yeah, that one stung.
Literally.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah, that did hurt. But listen, just moving on to the rest of this episode and jumping right into your thoughts, Eric. Again, we talked about the scene here where again, Allison's main goal was just to get that rumor as far out to everyone's ears, especially the king, who just wasn't here for it. He did not want to hear any of this craziness going on. But this relationship, Eric, between Lenore and Rhaenyra, how did you feel about it, man? Did you feel that they're still loyal to one another? They understand one another? Did you feel that tension and that him wanting to go off to fight war and, doing all his shenanigans? How did you feel about the relationship in this episode, Eric?
I mean, it's sort of the same as it was. It's just now they kind of like know each other better, but they're by no means obviously romantic with each other.
Yeah.
They're just kind of, they're partners, I guess, in life.
That's a great, yeah. Yep.
But I guess, yeah, Rhaenyra is clearly kind of frustrated with him. And I think even though she kind of made the arrangement with him that he could go off and do whatever he wanted with whoever he wanted, I think she seems to be getting a little tired of it or something, or just feeling like he's doing that and in place of giving attention to his kids, even though they're not really his kids.
Right. Which, speaking of, I got a really good kick out of the name of the baby being Joffrey. I don't follow too many like tabloids and celebrity gossip, but I don't know if you all have been put up to speed on Maroon 5's lead singer. What is his name? Adam Levine or Adam Levine?
Yeah.
You guys know the story about his little shenanigans.
Naming the kid
after his side piece. I got a kick out of that.
Crazy
with my man Lenore being like, yeah, let's name him Joffrey, and Alex or Rhaenyra having no say in that. I got a kick out of that. But Johnny, man, your thoughts on this dynamic, this relationship, is it starting to crumble? Are they still on the same page? How do you feel about them?
It was a marriage of convenience. It was a marriage to prop up the two houses. The two houses have been propped up. The progeny or the kids have been birthed. He just wants out, and he wants to go swashbuckle and find some new sailors to frolic with.
Yeah.
So some sailor boys. So I think it's there's going to be tension there, and she thinks that she's solved it by leaving the keep, but I think that there's still going to be ongoing tension between the two of them.
Yeah, I agree. G, your thoughts on this? Look, I mean, the picture says it all, man. You got the mother, right, the father on, Harwin, the pretend dad, the kids there. Right. It's just a happy family, G, right? This is what everyone wants. This is the American dream. This is the Westeros dream.
Yeah, I thought at this point, everybody was hip to everything. Like, I thought even the kids knew. I thought it was just like plain as day. You know what I'm saying? So like the resentment between those two, it was cool when there wasn't no babies involved, right? But after your third child and you just see, your husband just out and about, just doing whatever he wants to do, not necessarily playing the role of a father and like in the way that you would expect like him to play the part. Like the fact that he said, yeah, I played my part and it's been 10 years.
Right.
It's supposed to be a for a life type thing. Like, I thought it was like playing your part would be like, at least have one little black baby. You know what I'm saying? Like there's gotta be some way to get things going. But as far as the children go, like he definitely cares for the children.
Yeah, you can definitely see that. For sure.
I know that probably still eats away at him at some level when he sees, like in this picture right here, when he sees the baby in the actual father's hands.
Right.
So it's real messy, but it's family secrets.
Hey man. With they keep it in the family, as we all know. Meg, your thoughts on this dynamic, this relationship, the messiness, the understandings? Let us know, Meg.
First of all, proud Texan, born in the 90s. If you know, you know. Original meme I
what we
made
got there? Let me
earlier.
pull it up.
So I got a
Oh my goodness.
Rhaenyra, her kids, Lenore.
That's funny.
What is
King
that?
of the Hill.
King of the Hill? Yeah.
King of the Hill.
That's
and they're
funny.
like, what?
I watch
You
that show every
we're just
freaking
best
night.
friends.
That's
Honestly,
funny.
if I could be anybody in this whole series, I would be Lenore. Because Lenore is doing what I said Viserys should have been doing. I'm like, you're a king, live it up, have sex, drink ale, eat food. That's what I would be doing. Be queer, right? So I feel like Lenore has like the best setup out of anybody in this whole series right now. He just gets to do whatever he wants. He got some kids. He got a beautiful wife. He got status, but he don't have control. He gets to just sail about, drink ale, you know, hand-to-hand combat. I'm loving it. I love that for him.
His best life.
And also I wanted to say to Damon's beautiful family, it sucks because I mean everyone already knew that, you know, that's not Lenore kids, or in my opinion, allegedly. But I feel like because Damon has his kids now with his sister, and like obviously you can compare the kids, and it makes
Oh, did she freeze? I thought I was frozen for a second. Then it went all over the place tonight. Well, we'll get back to Meg here in a second. Did I get your thoughts on this, Johnny?
I think you did.
Okay, gotcha. Well, let me while Meg's getting situated with the internet, we got another special guest who I'm so happy is able to join us. We missed her last week, but she is here to let us know that the king is still here. I'm talking about the one and only Mac. What's going on, Mac? How we doing?
The king is here. We love the king, kind of. This episode, I was kind of, I don't know. You know, I love him. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think he's special. He's a different kind of king, and he's not for everybody. But
Mm-hmm.
this episode, I said, uh-oh. I said, you know, with some uh-oh moments for the king.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay. I still love my king.
That's your boy. That's your boy.
I think this might be my favorite episode.
Same.
I think it started off, I wasn't really loving it. I really wasn't. And then all of a sudden I loved it a lot. I was like, oh, it had some beautiful moments in it.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful moments.
Yeah. I hear you, Mac. And before we get on and we got Meg back, let me bring her back in. And I want to finish your thoughts, Meg, because you kind of froze up. I want to get to continue your thoughts.
Where did I freeze? Sorry.
I have no idea. It was in the middle of you were saying something good and it just cut off on us. But we'll get back to you. But Mac, why don't you go ahead and reintroduce yourself for those that haven't seen in a couple of weeks, or introduce yourself for the first time to the people that are seeing you.
Well, what's up, guys? My name is Matt Cox, and I'm from A Couture Crafting, and I express my fandom through crafting. So if you want to see some crazy quilts or some crazy paper crafts, or who knows what I'll do, come on over and hang out with me.
Yes, guys. And by the time this video is fully uploaded by tonight, everyone that you see on the screen, their information will be in the description. I think, Meg, we were kind of getting your thoughts on the dynamic between Lenore and Rhaenyra, and kind of how you feel about their agreement.
Yes, just quick point. I was saying that obviously Rhaenyra's husband has the best setup in the kingdom right now. And then I was saying, obviously, we already knew the tea on Rhaenyra's kids, but Daemon having kids with Laenor's sister also just makes it so bad, because you can just see what they're supposed to make.
What a Valerian child will look like when a Targaryen and Valerian have kids.
It's just like Daemon's got this babble of gorgeous little, kids over here, and then it's just like Ray over there, like. Oh. So I just felt like, every time Daemon popped out a kid, it just made everyone side eye Ray even more. So that's all I was saying.
Maybe that's why they're gone.
That's what we say. Luckily, they're gone to show less evidence of this, that they're out of, doing their thing. But tossing it to you, Mac, just to kind of get into the conversation again about just the relationship between these two. And also, to just quick briefly, how did you feel about Rhaenyra as far as this new actress coming in? Did you feel the same, like that organic, authentic transition from young Rhaenyra to older Rhaenyra?
So the transition was seamless to me. I didn't feel any kind of way. I didn't feel jolted. It felt right. It was just no big deal. And for whatever reason, I don't know how they did it, but they prepared me very well for this. I don't know why. I was okay with it, even though I loved young Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
This Rhaenyra is not showing the strength of young Rhaenyra just yet. She's about to. This one, she seemed kind of silly and weak to me in this. And I mean, don't get me wrong. The girl had a baby and then walked up some stairs.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
like that. No,
Yeah,
not like
silly
that.
and
That's not.
weak.
No. She's a gangster for that because she wasn't letting her baby out of her sight. No, we plays
Right.
no games about that. I get that.
Right.
But what I mean is, she seems kind of. I almost feel like she and Allison have switched roles for a moment. The way that I'm thinking about her is the way that I was thinking about Allison in the beginning, if that makes sense. She seems like she's not attacking her position the way that she's going to have to, because she's put herself in a very vulnerable position. I thought she and Laenor would at least make babies. I thought they would at least do that. I thought that was the understanding. And so she's made herself very, very vulnerable with these kids.
Yeah.
And instead of being a gangster about it and attacking people about it, or maybe slitting some throats because they've made some accusations, she's kind of sitting around watching people gossip about her instead of nipping it in the butt and saying, what you're not going to do is this. So I'm like, Rhaenyra, what you do? And now you're running. And I get it. I get why she's running. And I think she probably should have done it earlier. Like he said, like, we should have been out of here. If this was going to be the arrangement, you don't do it under the nose of everybody. What you doing?
Right.
So yeah, she will. I think these next couple of episodes, we're going to see what kind of gangster she is. But this one, she felt kind of light to me. She felt not as aggressive as I want her to be, if that makes sense.
I think right now she like, as we kind of mentioned, as you mentioned, Max, she knows what the situation is. She's playing her cards. She's kind of being a little bit reserved. She's also, just like you mentioned, she just gave birth, so she might not have all the energy in the world to really put her defenses up. But I think you're totally right. I think we just scratched the surface on Mama Bear keeping her kids protected with these two moms here.
And something else, I think she is like her father. You know how you guys always talk about her dad being weak because he won't just be evil. Like, he just doesn't have that evil slice you down. He comes from a place of being humble. Like, remember when he went to go see last week? He went down to
on his knees.
Yeah.
We know that he didn't have to do that. We know that we could have made him bring him there, but he was like, look, I'm not going to be petty. I know that I upset you, and I'm just going to do this because it's kind of easier. And we're just going to let you live. Like, yeah, I do need something. So he didn't force him. He didn't flex or any of that. He took his sick self right down there and kind of groveled in a kingly fashion. So instead of her slicing throats and chopping Allison down the way that she should, or, possibly removing one of the kids out of the way, whatever, she said, look, there's been she did it in front of people. Look, there's been some tension between the two of us. She approached it like her dad. And I thought, oh, no, that's interesting. I said, that's interesting to see that side of her.
It very much so. Again, the 10 years, she's an adult, she's a mom, she's, the queen to be. So there definitely has to be a little bit more maturity there. And I think she definitely showed it. But we've been talking about these parents the majority of the show so far. I'm just very curious, starting with you, Johnny, on how are we feeling about these kids, man? We know these kids are kind of the Achilles heel of the parents so far. Aegon and his younger brother, who clearly he hates, which I know there's going to clearly be attention from them, especially the older they get, and their puberty and their having power and all that stuff. But Johnny, what do you think about these kids, man?
Aegon is primed to be a megalomaniac. Standing in the window reminded me of another show, The Boys.
Oh yeah, a little Homelander action going on there.
Homelander did the same thing in that show.
Just showing his power.
Not the same thing, but very similar to that action. And
at least he didn't jump off.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, is that the same window? I was so wondering, is that the same window?
Yeah,
for sure.
That was a very The Boys moment.
Oh yeah, it's showing how much power you can do anything. You literally.
No, The Boys. You guys know The Boys moment. Come on, guys.
Yes.
The Boys.
Yeah.
The Boys.
Absolutely. That's what I was saying. It was the boys moment, and as far as his brother, he's looking at him as weak. He doesn't have a dragon, and then the other. Are you going through the other kids too, or just?
Just your general take on these kids, man. Is any of them standing out to you? Any of them you feel bad for, or root for?
I'm rooting. Well, I'm Team Black, so
right.
I have to root for Rhaenyra's kids,
which I can't remember their names right now. Jade or something.
Jace,
Jace.
Jaceres, and
Luke Harris.
Lucaris.
Thank
So
you.
they're like Jace and Luke. Is how they shorthand them. Jace and Luke.
Mm-hmm.
They've been kind of neglected, as you can see, with their training.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's going to change when they get out of the keep. But Aegon is primed to be a megalomaniac. So he's already on his way.
Already. G man, go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead.
What's funny though is he doesn't want the throne yet, but once he figures out how much power there is with the throne, and basically he could do that, and he could do that in all subjects if he wanted to, not just out the window. Then he'll be into it.
Oh man, G, your thoughts on these children? Again, is there any particular character that stood out to you, whether it is an Aegon or the innocence of his younger brother that seems to be the sheep of the family? Your thoughts on these children?
I like the two oldest kids, so I think that's Jace and Aegon. But the younger one, I like the fact that he just went down there. Like his curiosity led him down to the keep, and we got to see what it really looks like. Because at first I was like, oh dang, the dragons are already getting small. Like, so I was like, they dying out already, but that wasn't the case. But Aegon, I think for him, I like the fact that we saw like two different sides, and we saw the overconfident, pushing his cousins around and just, feeling like he's the man moment, right? We saw the rage of him not liking the fact that he lost, or the fact that he, his moment was stolen by Mr. Strongman, I forgot his name, but
Harwin,
yeah. And also like the fear that he and respect that he has for his mother. So I feel like he's a full-fledged character already, and he's primed to be another Joffrey or whoever he wants to be.
Ramsay, Joffrey. Oh my goodness, these
right,
these Targaryens, man. Flip of a coin.
Right, so I'm excited to start to see that competitive nature lead towards some politics or corruption or something,
right?
Just because it's just they are everybody's crutch at this point, but because nobody's really safe until somebody really makes a move.
Yeah,
but it's interesting seeing the different dynamics because Jace losing his father, not only just by the fire, but also finally asking the question is like, is he my real is he my real dad? That could turn him into a monster. So that's gonna be interesting to see.
Very much so. Meg, I'm curious on your thoughts on these children, these kidlings. Any of these kids you want to take home and raise or hang out with or fly dragons with?
Hey y'all, maybe I've been watching too much Rings of Power, because I totally thought when that little kid went down there, I thought that he was gonna like woo the dragon and then come out like riding the dragon. I was so excited. I was so
not yet, at least. I assume some dragon riding is to come.
But G, as you were talking, sorry, I was looking at the scripture, my Game of Thrones, and I thought it would be fun to like pop open the book and see what it landed on and see if something could apply to
any goodness, any good stuff coming out of that?
Haven't got there yet. Just was lines about Arya talking about Needle, but hopefully we'll come across something soon.
Gotcha. Who else do we got here? Mac, your thoughts on these kids and their dynamic, and they're planting the seeds for maybe some of these characters really growing up to be just terrible human beings.
So, if I'm being honest, I was having a hard time keeping up with which kid was what and what was doing what.
I'm gonna have to rewatch
I don't know which kid is, especially. And then I thought about it. I was like, well, all the dark kids belong to Rhaenyra.
Right.
I had to kind of put it. But the kid that stands out the most is the baby who was being ignored by Daemon. That's about to get her mama dragon.
Yep.
That's the baby that I'm like, something is very special about that baby. And the other one too. And I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to that. These boys, well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have any predictions for the blonde boys just yet, except for the oldest one is horrible. You can already see that he's a Joffrey. Like you can see it. Like something's wrong with that boy. The fact that he enjoys torturing No, did he do? Yeah, he tortured his own little brother, right? Like he came out with that pig.
Little
That was his
pig,
idea.
and yeah.
Yeah, something's wrong with him.
Yeah.
And I think they wanted us to know that. They were very clear about that scene, like that he's a little different. You know, why are you
Right.
in the window? What are you doing? You're a little different.
Well, I mean, you know, Mac, that's what happens when your dad's a coward. But you know.
Quit talking about his daddy. But I'm struggling with them. I'm not
Yeah.
a big fan of those kids, and I'm rooting for Rhaenyra's kids because they're kind of the underdogs.
Right.
And their dad possibly. You guys think he's gone? You guys think he's dead?
Oh yeah, I think that. Well, I could be wrong, but I thought those were the bodies of.
I only saw one body, right? I saw a body. I thought I only saw one body.
I thought we saw two. Yeah, I thought we saw two, and especially with the.
He was
And then the
burned alive.
casket, there was only one casket that went in the water. Elliot, I wish you would watch these whatchamacallits.
I gotta get the show.
Are you doing it? Are you doing it on purpose? I'm like, are you doing this?
Yeah, I gotta.
on-
You know, I can't watch the after the.
Gotta
Oh,
get
you
the
can't-
true reaction.
Yeah, I gotta
Okay,
get-
you
yeah.
can't.
Reaction
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
why won't you watch it so we can? Okay, so it's a thing.
Did they
No, I
give
get
some
it.
more insight on that? Did they?
Yeah, but
pay
we don't
attention
have
on
to talk about it if that's not part of what we're doing.
No. Go ahead. Fill
Well,
me in.
there was a casket, and there was only one casket that I saw
Mhm.
go in the water, and so I was like, well, I said,
Somebody
did he?
might- Yeah.
I wanted to know. I felt unsure about his death, but I've only watched it once, and you guys know we all go back and watch it
Mhm,
a
mhm.
few more
Yeah.
times. So,
Mhm.
I was like, I don't know. But so the kids, yes, I'm curious to see what happens with the underdog boys.
Yeah.
I think Damon's daughter that feels neglected is about to be very special. I think she's gonna get the biggest dragon in the kingdom.
Oh, she
And I'm
might get,
excited about her.
That joint was huge.
No, the big. I said, what is she right?
Vagar. Was that the dragon's name?
Vagarus or Vagar or
Yeah,
yeah.
Vagar. It
And
might
those are
be.
Green
my-
Giant. I don't know.
Yeah.
The dragon's huge, y'all. Like
Yeah,
that dragon
yeah, that
was
was
on
good.
another level.
I said,
Eric-
oh, she got a big one.
She got huge.
And she was riding that junk while she was pregnant too.
Right? I mean, don't listen. G, we're gonna talk about my heart just never recovering because she was amazing. Eric, my man, your thoughts on these kids? I know you have the book knowledge and you probably know where things are kind of headed and what can we expect with some of these characters. But just based on the first episode here of seeing these young kids, how do you feel about them? Is any of them pulling at your heartstrings, or any of them you're really rooting for so far, man?
I mean, definitely like you guys, I'm rooting against Aegon.
Yeah.
I think, you guys are pretty on point with your predictions for him. Yeah, and honestly, from what I remember, like without getting into specifics, like just all of Alicent and Viserys's kids are kind of bad news, honestly.
Yeah.
I guess one thing I thought was really cool too, though, just speaking of the kids with the scene with them in the it was just really cool this is the episode we finally got to see the inside of the dragon pit.
Yeah,
Right.
that was really awesome.
So that was cool because that's what we saw in like the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones when it's all destroyed.
Yep.
Where they have the meeting.
Skeletons and stuff.
I think we only see like 2 times, like once in season 7 and once in season 8. But it was cool. They kept it kind of the same with you could see those kind of ramps leading up into it, if you remember. So I liked those little details. But yeah, as far as the kids, I think I'm pretty much agree with you guys, like 100% when it comes to the kids, no question, Team Black.
No.
Yeah, I mean, although I'll admit none of like the performances. I mean, I know they're child actors.
Yeah.
Of what's it called? Of Rhaenyra's kids, really grabbed me yet.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I know that sounds harsh and silly. But
No, it's truth, man. I'm
Nah, you're right. Leave
No,
my dad.
really,
Right.
yeah.
We agree.
I
Nothing was
geek.
special.
Yeah.
Okay, in
They
Game
weren't
of Thrones,
terrible. They just didn't
you
stand
used
out.
to-
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I just mean in Game of Thrones, usually even the kids are amazing.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that with these kids, I'll admit. With like Jace and Luke and all that. I mean, they barely had any screen time. Don't
Right.
get me
That's what I'm about to say. Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm
as we
just
know
saying,
with
though,
Game
I
of
didn't
Thrones
have
in this
that.
show, you don't have to have too much screen time to leave a presence,
Yeah,
you know,
I
and
don't
they
know. Like,
didn't
the
have
bar
that.
is just so high in this franchise
Yeah.
for acting, even down to the child actors. So it stood out to me a bit. Yeah. Although I will say, what's it called? Aegon. Just from having read the book and just from the preview, I can't think of since Joffrey a face I wanted to punch just in the preview. But honestly, I didn't. So I was kind of expecting to hate him more than I did already this episode. just he didn't do that much. I'm sure I'm going
Right.
to, but so I was almost, because I was like primed for it and knowing the book, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's gonna be the worst. And he wasn't quite like Joffrey level yet. But,
Right. But he
yeah,
has the potentiality to be one, huh?
Yeah, and I can see. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I like Rhaenyra's kids, and I like Daemon and Laena's kids. But yeah, I guess not. I don't know. I'm not sure if. Yeah, Laena's kids probably were, I think, slightly better actors, but still not like quite standing out to me.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see where it goes. Yeah, unfortunately, the one that stands out the most is Aegon, just for being.
Yeah, just knowing what
ass.
yeah. And I mean, to your point, Eric, even if you're not a book reader, from Game of Thrones lore, from the TV show, they have spoken of, Aegon and kind of what he becomes. So that's going to be very interesting to see that trajectory of the character becoming someone that we might end up hating. So we'll see what comes of that. And shout out to, I see, and by the way, Meg, it looks like her iPad, I know she had 1% last week. It looks like she had 1% this week. Her iPad died on her, but she said she'll be still showing some love in the chat. And also want to give a quick shout out, number one, to everyone watching live. Thumbs up, share. Everyone that you all see on the screen now, the information will be in the link in the description of this video by the time we end the stream. So definitely show them some love, but also show some love to my homegirl, Tyra, who joined me earlier to talk about Atlanta. Sundays are busy for me. We go from Atlanta to Westeros. So I'm on I'm riding my dragon from, coast to coast. But Tyra had a question about do you have to watch Game of Thrones? And I think we've all said this, that no, you don't have to have Game of Thrones. Actually, Tyra, I would want to be in your shoes because this is a prequel.
Facts.
I would have loved to have seen House of Dragons and then go into Game of Thrones with all that information and lore. So by all means, Tyra, you can watch House of Dragon and then watch Game of Thrones. And you'll probably be in a much better position than I was, when Game of Thrones came on almost a decade ago. So shout out to Tyra, and I'm glad. I hope you like the show so far. But we talked about these kids, and I totally agree with you, Eric. None of them are really grabbing me, but again, I think from what I understand from, and then we're going to get another time jump and we're going to see them being a little bit more aged up. I think that those, there was a reason why they didn't give us any screen time with the younger version of them, because I think the older version of them are going to have more of that screen presence, and maybe we can dissect their performance a little bit more, and hopefully they can give us more to remember them by and give us something to talk about every single week. But very curious on these children. But I want to start with you, Mac, and talk about Daddy Damon. Father Damon, more reserved Damon. How did you feel about this episode, Mac? Again, he has 3 children, 3 girls, which is so funny. He has, you would think this hard-headed, strong-headed man would just producing men left and right, but he has 3 girls. I think that's very, very funny. I don't know if that's a cruel joke from the gods of Game of Thrones or if it means something, but your thoughts on the father, the husband, Daemon Targaryen.
Did he have 3? I thought it was only 2.
He was about to
Wow,
have 3.
the baby, yeah. I guess the
okay,
baby.
okay.
Yeah.
Daemon looks good. I'm here for Daemon, but I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming, guys. And the decision that he made appeared that it was going to be the complete opposite of the decision that his brother made.
Yep.
It looked like Daemon was like, nah, like we're gonna have to try to figure out, but he didn't have. I mean, I know everybody is like, oh, the king killed his wife, and I don't exactly see it that way. If your child is stuck in there, yeah, I know, it's always me. Jeez, it's always me. But if the child is stuck in there in that day in time,
yeah,
you're probably out. You're probably done. If you're a woman, you're done. And so the fact that it didn't appear that he was going to do it. It showed. I loved his relationship with his wife. I know you were talking about you want more. I didn't need more. He gave me everything I needed to see. I saw that
I just wanted more from her. Was what I
from
I
her.
thought she was fantastic.
She went out like a G. I'm here for her. She went out. She was like you said. You don't have to have a lot of screen time. She didn't have a lot of screen time, but she will stay with me forever. She moved with elegance, with grace. She was thoughtful. She had a big dragon. She had the biggest dragon. She was out there. She was trying to have that baby. She was trying, and it just, didn't work out. Yeah. But in regards to Daemon, I like this Daemon. I like Daddy Daemon. I liked his relationship with her. He let her talk, and then he was like, then he touched her hand. He didn't cut her off. Right. He touched her hand, and then he trumped her. I loved how that happened.
I agree.
I also laughed because after he said what he said, he was done talking to her and looked at her like, why are you still standing here? I thought that was an interesting. You saw it, G, right? Like he was talking to her, he was reading his book, and then he looked like, okay, I understand what I said. Why are you still here? But he showed love to the unborn baby. It was a good. It was, oh, you
It
know,
was a
all
good
things
look.
Damon. Damon really can do no wrong for me, God. I don't care what Damon
Right.
does. I
Damon
don't care what he
fans,
does.
Baby.
man.
I am.
He has his
I don't.
hooks in y'all.
Damon hadn't done anything that bad, guys. I mean, you know,
Oh,
everybody
oh,
says that
oh.
he killed his wife, but that was a mercy kill because he didn't want to leave her paralyzed like that for
Kills
the
his
rest of her life.
wife, takes his unborn nephew's egg. He,
Yeah, no, he gave it back.
has a
Power
little
play.
Saw him give
Power
it back.
play.
affair with his niece. These are just
I
slap on the
thought
wrist.
Damon was excellent in this.
Oh, he was
I
great.
thought he was great. I thought the relationship was great. I'm a little concerned about his relationship with the daughter without
With
the
the
dragon,
daughter.
but and I'm concerned what that's gonna do because she will automatically get attention when she bonds with this oldest dragon, and
Right.
now he will be all into her. Maybe.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. I love that he was sitting there. He's still big man. Oh, I bet the kids look like her. Woo. I see. Did you hear him when he said he was like, oh, I bet her kids look like her guard or whatever.
Yeah.
Still, you know, and old girl was like, you still lust for it? No, I don't. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Knock it off.
Still got feelings.
The relationship was great. Damon did a great job. He wasn't super wordy as usual. I'm a fan.
Yeah, it wasn't chaotic. Yeah, we get to see that other side of him. That more vulnerable side. And again, him having kids, I think these kids are definitely adding another dimension to these characters. Eric, man, your thoughts on Damon, his presence, also his family dynamic. You know, I think it is not a coincidence that Lena comes from Corliss and Renaris, all these niece, all these names. But so I would expect that when she got older, she would have that. She would want that same type of relation that she saw from her parents because they seem to have a very good, strong understanding of working together goes a long way. But your thoughts on this relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it was surprisingly kind of heartfelt, and I was kind of at this point. I mean, even though I've read the books and I kind of know where some things are going, I still was kind of I wasn't sure that we were really gonna see Damon soften up that much after so many episodes of him. I keep thinking, okay, maybe he's gonna settle down now, and then he doesn't. But now he finally did, and yeah, I think it was a surprisingly just kind of tender side of Damon, and I was a little worried for a sec that he was gonna do the same thing and have his wife cut open for a sec.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, no, like you guys said, the way she went out was pretty. I mean, it was brutal, but it was also
epic.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we haven't seen before. Is someone
dragon riders
fire to themselves with their own dragon.
Which Eric helped me out, and so everyone in the chat and the panel, I was watching live. I thought Valerians, Targaryens. Well, I guess she's a Valerian, but yeah, I guess she can die from the fires of a dragon, right? It's not the same thing as a true Targaryen.
I guess because she's not full Targaryen, But I was even gonna bring that up because there's that part in this episode where we see Damon ride through the fire.
Yeah.
So I guess
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always kind of. I mean, yeah, they it's something they really gloss over kind of in Game of Thrones. It's sort of just Daenerys does it twice, and no one really talks about it too much.
Yeah,
I guess that means Jon Snow probably wouldn't be vulnerable to it.
Yeah, because he's half
vulnerable to it. So
right. Well, we'll find out hopefully in a couple of years when we get that Jon Snow series. But Johnny, your thoughts on the dynamic, the power couple, shortly lived, unfortunately. But your thoughts on Damon and this new side of him?
Yeah, it was unfortunate that it was so shortly lived because I really liked the dynamic, and
Same.
I mean, I don't want to be like somebody that's lamenting things that are happening in TV shows, but it would have been nice to see a little bit more of what happened, and I guess maybe that's where when you're talking about losing the gap of 10 years, we didn't get to see all that happening,
Right.
So that's where we lost a lot of it because here we are now. But I'm interested to see what happens with the daughters and with him, and if he's going to still have his family together, and if she's going to get a dragon. The previews for the next episode hint at something bad happening, but I know we're not here to talk about that, but I have a little trepidation about that.
Interesting. I gotta see this trailer before the end of the night. G, my man, wrapping up just thoughts on your this relationship, and then I got another relationship I want to bring to the table with Alicent and Kristen Cole. But your thoughts, G, on Damon, this new side of him, man.
Yeah, I love that part of the episode. I thought initially, like I wrote down in my notes, like Damon and Lena, the next power couple, but
Yeah.
now they ain't a couple no more because she got a body. But
yeah.
I did appreciate like their differencing in like ways they wanted to live their life in a
Mhm.
sense, because you can tell like Damon is still somewhat power hungry, but I think more so he just wants the freedom of like, man, maybe I might not get the Iron Throne, but I want to have something to my name
Right.
to
Mhm.
be able to pass down.
He
And
wants to be needed.
exactly. So I like that aspect of it. And then even with I'm gonna say her name right, Lena, because I've been saying it wrong this whole time. I didn't know. But I like the fact that she was like, I want our kids to, grow up around their family
Right.
and, grow up in their home place. So like those differences in opinions was dope to see. Damon like actually really caring about somebody was nice to see as well. And yeah, I mean it was the most hurt part of the episode. I was like, y'all didn't have to do this. You know what I'm saying?
man.
Like y'all didn't have to hurt me like this, because
man.
things was going so good. I was like, man, maybe they have to move, maybe not. I don't know how they could convince them, but it's just like we done had so many, births, and like this being a thing, I'm like, yeah, this is crazy. Like she went out tough though.
We
But
should have known, G. I mean, once you get some happiness, some understanding, you can't get too attached, as they showed us
Yeah.
tonight. But I want to get your thoughts on this, Mac. Is there something more than just pure understanding, respect from another between these two characters? I'm referring to Allison and Cole. Is there a little bit of maybe some affairs going on? Your thoughts on their dynamic? And man, have the great have fallen. I mean, my man Cole was just the knight, the chart. Oh, he's going to be the next Jon Snow of this series, the first 4
Right.
episodes. And oh my goodness, I have never seen someone turn so quick. I hate this dude. He's calling Rhaenyra, see you next Tuesday, and all
Right.
this stuff. I'm like, this man is on one. Your thoughts on this relationship and Cole?
When it comes to Cole, there's one thing for me. I don't care if we're talking about movies or whatever, real life. You do not mistreat children. And the way that he set those kids up to fail and the way that he was treating
Good
those
point.
other children, you nasty son of a gun. Like, no, we don't. He got to go. He's got to go.
Right.
Yep.
And no, I don't think there's anything more because these two people are so obsessed with honor and name and all that. No,
That's true. Good point.
So no, I don't think that there's anything more than an ally. Allison is building up some serious allies, and so it was good that Ray she went on ahead and left because she's not. I was like, who's going to support her? But I know who's about to support her. I know who's coming to get her. But yeah, and I'm okay with it. I knew it was coming. I'm okay with it. I'm happy about it. And those two together, if they have a baby, everybody needs to be concerned. But that relationship, Elliot, I don't think there's anything there. It's just somebody who is supporting somebody else, and they have a common enemy, and they're walking around.
He
on their
learned his
hockey.
lesson too, right? You would think he would learn his lesson not to sleep with royalty,
Man,
just on his perspective. Yeah.
So yeah, no, he's not. She's not going to do that, and he's not going to do that.
Good point.
Where Allison is messing up, it's her relationship with the scary dude. That's her.
Beetle Man.
Yeah,
Beetle Man.
That's the issue. This right here is just fluff for me. It's just a common enemy.
Well said, Mac. And Eric, man, I know you mentioned you gave us a little. You did a good job, Eric. Last week you said, "Hey guys, I'm telling y'all, watch out for Kristen Cole. There's some things in his past that might come up in the next few episodes." And damn it, Eric, you were right, man. We're seeing that bad side. And Mac said it so perfectly. When you start throwing your weight in front of children and pitting them against each other, that just speaks to another level of who he is, truly who he is as a person. So Rhaenyra dodged that bullet, because he's something else. Eric, your thoughts on him and also this relationship between these two?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like a perfect way to kind of show how spiteful he is of Rhaenyra and how she kind of spurned him by clearly like basically attacking what he knows are her kids with someone else.
Yep.
And I'm not sure why he's like, I guess just because it served attacking Rhaenyra's kids, but he was kind of like propping up I guess he's propping up Allison's kids because I guess he's basically in her pocket now. So and for all we know, they might have kind of been doing things too. I mean, I'm wondering that.
Started off wholesome though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe before, again, it goes back to that 10-year gap. Maybe there was one nefarious night, and they just from that point on. But I think Mac, I'm kind of agree with Mac that Allison is just once she had that talk with her dad last week about like you must get Aegon on the throne. I don't think she's been concerned with any other guy at all, like anything
Actually,
besides
that's
Viserys.
a good point.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, it's not something that's like in the books or anything. I'm just kind of wondering because like I know like she's concerned with her kids, but like you could say the same thing about Cersei, right? I mean, she was concerned with her kids, yet she was still going around sleeping with not only Jaime but like her cousin too.
Her cousins, yeah.
So I mean, because that's who I see Allison is now. She's now fully
as Cersei. Whoa,
the Cersei of the show.
Whoa, that's big. That's
big shoes to fill. For sure.
Yeah, like Cersei, like Allison. Whoa.
I mean, I'm not saying she's
too
gonna,
flip floppy for me.
Go all like Godfather and become like a domestic terrorist, but I think there's pretty clearly like a lot of characters now who we're seeing like kind of mirror certain characters in Game of Thrones. I think she's Cersei. You know, Harwin is Littlefinger, and she's using him just the way like Cersei kind of used Littlefinger. Yeah, sorry, did I go off topic? What was
no, you're good. We were talking about just how Allison this ties into like how Allison's relationship is and how she's manipulating people. Or
Kristen Cole, I guess.
I think we said last week that Kristen Cole is kind of like the mountain, or kind of her mountain version of the mountain. Yeah,
yeah, it's all like a milder version. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, yeah, I guess that was the thing, though. Even though I knew, like I mentioned last week, that Kristen Cole, like from reading the book, I wouldn't like from just reading the history. You don't really think anything good of him, honestly. But by watching the show, I'm like, oh wait, I kind of like this guy. And it's like, oh no, but I know what's gonna happen with him, kind of.
Yeah, maybe they'll do something different.
I'm a little bummed out. He's
now my memory's coming back. Erica was the one last week, not to put you on the spot there, but you were like, man, Kristen, I understand when he's coming.
I like, knew that he was going to be such a dick later, but in episodes 4 and 5, especially episode 4, I was just like, oh, sorry, my light just
no worries.
He seemed like such a good guy. I was like, oh man, why are you?
How the mighty are falling.
Switched up so quickly.
I mean, you gotta wonder though, what would have happened if Rhaenyra would have. I mean, I know she wouldn't have gone with him, but I mean, I don't know. It's like a matter of, is it his true colors, or is it just the world broke him down?
Right? Is it just the Game of Thrones has corrupted him just maybe sooner than some of the other characters?
Like I said, I think he does have a background as being a sort of thug, right? But I feel like he was kind of growing past that. I don't think it was just a facade. And then
that John was petty.
Then the world kind of just
petty.
I mean, just what happened. He was fragile.
Right. No, well said,
sensitive.
Man. Sensitive, and like I say, he's the Drake of the show. But before we get to my man Johnny and G's thoughts, we got another special guest who I think he joined us on episode 1 and is making his return. Man, I'm excited to get his thoughts. And he might have left. He might be coming back. So rewind. I didn't say any of that, but there might be a guest joining us in a little bit. Johnny, tossing it to you, my friend. Your thoughts on Alicent and Cole, and how Cole is handling all of this stuff with the children and his hatred and saying all the stuff he says.
Cole is not handling it well, and he's very angry that that she caused him to lose his stature and his break his vow. Let's say.
Right.
He's mad about having broken his vow, and he also saw himself as being with her. So a lot of it has to do with jealousy too, I'm sure.
Right.
And he is not in a good place right now when he sees everything happening with Rhaenyra, and he hasn't let it go yet, and it's festering.
No, well said, man. Well said. G, your thoughts on it, and kind of pivoting over to also the confrontation between letting Harwin. He got him. He said the words that pissed him off and ultimately led him to getting banned. But your thoughts on this relationship, man?
I think it's just like a need versus need type of thing. Like, you help me, I help you. Yeah. But there's still like a power dynamic in like their relationship, because even when he spoke out of turn, he was like, oh, My fault. I forgot who I was talking to for a second there. So seeing that, I'm just like, I'm still not buying it. I'm not buying Alicent right now. Like I know she's definitely changed, but I just don't like how she flip-flop when something happened. Like she go back into her old, like, oh, that's not what I wanted to happen. Da 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 da. Right. And then with Cole, it's just like before he was biting his tongue and just trying to, do his duties. But now it's like, oh, your real daddy here. Okay, I see now. Hey, God, go fight this little man right here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, it was a petty move. Even when he was like, nah, finish him. I'm like, yo, this is cousin, and it started off wholesome, what's his name was Viserys was there with the hand. They was both watching their grandsons, go and learn. I thought, if it was me and I knew Cole knew my secret, I wouldn't have him training my kids. I would have her husband, because her husband's a knight. He might not be better than Cole.
Yeah,
right. But I would have definitely done something like that, because they was out there fighting for their life. I mean, it was bad for them when they was fighting the little stick, the little hay monster thing. So it was just I was just like, okay. I mean, I see what's going on. And then as far as the fight, it wasn't really a fight. It was a sucker punch, and it played right into his hands. So I Cole, I'm not messing with Cole at all. Like he just petty. He just like need to go somewhere and find something else to do, because he's not helping nobody else, right? He's not even helping himself out right now. Like I could see if he had like a plan to make something else happen for himself, but his position's not changed. He's just doing all this out of spite at this point. So it was just sad to see him go from this noble character to just like whatever's under that
of pettiness. I hear you, man. I hear you. And I think the guest that I was referring to a couple minutes ago is good. He's back in the back room with a goat behind him, and I'm excited to bring him on to get his take on this episode. I'm talking about my man Skylar. What's going on, man?
Hey, can y'all hear me? Am I too loud?
Yeah, loud and clear, man. Coming in good.
Okay.
Like, so you got MJ behind you. So
there you go.
Look,
coming
the
in with the
exactly. I'm not mad at that
message. That's good.
That's funny.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Skylar, before we get your thoughts and kind of on this episode, why don't you introduce yourself, my friend?
I am Skylar. Sorry, I'm not used this mic that often, so I don't know what I really sound like. So hopefully,
sounds good. No, coming in good, man. Sounds nice and clear.
Okay, y'all see, I'm trying to upgrade a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm Skylar Ezell, or Skylar _writer. You guys can find me pretty much online or anywhere. My website, SkylarEzell.com. And aspiring writer out here in LA. And you can also check out some of my bylines on blacknerdproblems.com.
Yes. Well, Skylar, it's so good to have you back, man. Again, we've been kind of going through the episode, the highs, the lows. I'm going to get into some conversations about some people that we lost here, but just your general opinion on this episode, and then just kind of transitioning into your thoughts on Alicent and this relationship with Kristen Cole.
This was, I wasn't ready. This one, I don't know how they do it with the time. And I heard y'all talking about this, how they skip the time jumps, but it doesn't feel like we've missed the 10 years or however long it's supposed to have been. So like, even though we've only seen, was it Lady Lenore? Is that her name? Like the woman that passed? Lena.
Mm-hmm.
However, like I was like, damn, not her. Yeah, not our girl. We don't see her for 8 minutes the whole season. We don't see her for 8 minutes.
Strong 8.
Yeah,
strong. But it's a strong 8. It's a strong 8. And so I'm just like, God, dog. Like, and she went out like a G with the whole just burn me. I'm like, girl, it's gonna burn the baby too. But she didn't care. She was like,
the baby was gonna be dead. Yeah, the baby was. Yeah.
This was a good episode. I don't know who's responsible for the wig budget, but they need an assistant. They need somebody.
Season 2, Skylar.
These Party City wigs. I would be happy if they had less dragons and better wigs, because I'm not understanding it's I don't want to say any names, but there's certain people who are notorious for the wigs in their productions,
Don't say
and
his name.
that is what I won't say. He who shall not be named, but it's given that. And I'm just not understanding with all the CGI budget why Party City
Nah,
is the supplier.
it's
but
not
only
all the
got-
wigs. It's not all the wigs.
It's not all the
wigs. It's
wigs.
2 wigs,
Yeah.
and it was better this time than it was last time. It was better.
better.
It was better. It was absolutely. You know, it was better.
But we
No, it
halfway
was
through the
better.
season.
Skylar,
we
they
gotta
had,
start a
half the
GoFundMe.
budget went towards the dragons, man. You
Well,
gotta cut short. You gotta cut your budget somewhere, man. They
I will
decided with
start a
hair and makeup.
GoFundMe for them to have better wigs. I don't care. And then did you see? Did y'all watch Familam? Anybody
I
see
don't know what
Familam?
that is.
Oh, y'all gotta watch Familam. Okay, so
Familam?
it's like a Familam,
I've never heard of it.
FAMALAM,
Mm-hmm.
one word. It's a British sketch show, kind of like In Living Color.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a black-led sketch show. And the dude that plays Rhaenyra's husband, I should have looked him up, but the guy that plays him, he's on Familam. He's a hilarious dude. They have like a running skit because a lot of them are like immigrants from Nigeria, so like have a running skit with like the Nigerian aunties, and I can't even do it justice. Just when you get a chance, y'all YouTube Familam, Nigerian aunties, or just anything Familam. The guy that plays Rhaenyra's husband is on that show. He's hilarious. He is. So when I saw
You can tell he
him,
brought some of that comedy to this episode from his character.
Yeah. So when I saw him, I was like, oh my God, Familam is in the house. And I am nobody's British. But yeah, he's, I guess, an up and coming actor or whatever. I don't know if he's up and coming. He might be huge over there. I don't know. But love the episode. It was definitely and forgive my poor green screen. I don't know what's going on. But it was just a very emotional episode. It was also frustrating seeing Rhaenyra go through so many hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, this green screen really is off. She's supposed to be smarter than this. You cannot keep having babies that don't look like your black, white-haired husband. Like, and everybody in your family has white hair.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like when Allison has said, like, once is a mistake, 3 times is an insult,
It's
or
an
whatever.
insult, yeah.
And to me, I'm like, yeah, it's an insult to our intelligence, because I don't need to have 8th grade bio to know that those aren't his kids.
Right.
All 3 of them. It's like, and the issue I have with Rhaenyra is that she is the smartest one, I think, out of everyone, but she forgets. Have you ever seen somebody who, like, they're right? Okay, better example. Monique, when she was going through all that drama and yelling at everybody, and people were like, but she's right, but she's pissing everybody.
Oh, you're
off.
talking about the real actress, Monique? Yeah,
the actress Monique. Yeah, and it was just like, you're right, but you're pissing everybody off. You're not learning how to do it. That's Rhaenyra, because it's like, yes, you're the heir. Yes, you deserve this. Yes, you're the best person for the realm, but you need to understand the environment that you're in, and that's not meant to insult Monique. I was just using an example for her. But like, it's like, you're a woman. It's not fair, but it's a woman. You can't get away with that. You can't move like that. If you are going to be the next leader of the realm, you have to move differently. It sucks, but you cannot move like the men in this show, because the men in here won't allow it. So you have to go another way. And so she keeps refusing to do that. And I feel bad because I don't want to blame her. Like, that's the environment that she shouldn't have to think differently. But it's like, you got Miss Fox News over here doing 23andMe tests on all your kids, right? You got all these men that don't want you on the throne. It's like, I need you to think creatively, and she's not doing that. She's just doing the same thing that the guys do in this particular aspect. And I'm like, you can't do that. You're not going to win that way.
Yeah. At least Cersei was smart enough to be messing with people that got the same color hair. So it's like,
She's
Cersei did the same thing, because
they look like Baratheons.
Yeah, they look like Baratheons at all. And I think in the book, right? Didn't she have?
Obvious,
did she have like?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like hair, and then he died mysteriously or whatever.
Well, I think to that point, Scott, as far as just the the
about
blatant
that.
like who they sleep with. I think it just kind of plays into like who they think they are, right? That these are kings and queens, and we've heard them say a million times that they can just tell anyone anything and they just believe it. And who cares? You know, they're people in a position of power. So I think it just kind of plays into the whole mindset of like we can get away with anything at this point, and you know, sleep who we want with. But man, and I think we talked about it earlier. I think Rhaenyra, the true nature and her dominance will be more apparent next season, or not next season, but next week, in the coming weeks. Because I think, you know, this position that she was in this week, just giving birth and fighting with her husband and all the different stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff that some.
Did y'all catch? I'm
No,
sorry. I mean, did
Go
y'all
ahead.
catch the blood when she was walking back from Allison? Y'all might have said this already.
Yeah,
I don't do blood,
Yeah.
so my whole body just went like weak. Like I literally just like collapsed in my chair. Like I can't. And she just kept walking. She a gangster.
She had to show that dominance. But speaking of dominance, Johnny, I want to get your thoughts on this scene, man. On this, you're working with the devil, Allison. And we know the devil I'm talking about. Apparently, this is a nightly evening get together. They come together, they gossip, they come with their plans, deceit, and he's been manipulating her this whole time. Johnny, your thoughts on this dinner of evil?
I had a friend ask me about him, and I said he's the Varys of this show, and I think he kind of is, but even more evil, and that he's got her manipulated. She thinks that she has him under control, but he's working behind the scenes too.
Where did he learn this, Johnny? Is what I want to know. His dad seems to be the most noble man in the whole realm, but like, where does he learn these?
It might have just been from the fact that he was
resentment, man.
That he was
disabled.
He was disabled and he was mistreated all these years.
Right.
And he has a lot of animosity built up
Interesting.
over the fact that he was mistreated. And then somebody had said something about, they didn't let him sit with the men during that hunting thing. And I heard somebody else say, no, it's not so much that they didn't let him sit with the men. It was more that he wanted to sit with the women so he could get
the gossip.
The gossip.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
You know, it wasn't so much that even if he could have sat with the men, he would have chosen to sit with the women to get the gossip. But
like that.
Yeah, this guy, he's shot to my #1 ranking for villain on the show so far.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't know if I'll get canceled for calling him Littlefoot, but you know,
I don't think so. I don't know. It's 2022, man. I don't know.
Probably not appropriate, but you know, we'll just call him. What was the other name that we had for him? That was
Beetle Dude or
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
There you go, Beetlejuice. So we'll go with that. Don't want to get canceled, and yeah, this guy is conniving, no good. Killed his dad and brother. I mean, there's not like who else have we seen this evil on this show that would
Cersei?
Are you talking about House of Dragon or like Game of Thrones lore?
Game of Thrones lore.
Cersei.
Cersei, Joffrey.
Ramsay blew up that church, man.
Yeah.
But to kill your own
family,
your own father, your own family, though.
Ramsay did that.
Yeah.
Ramsay kills his father.
Okay.
Cersei blew up a church of people. So
right.
She number one.
But it wasn't her own family, though. You know, that's a little. That's even more.
I mean, again, though, yeah, Ramsay straight up just stabs his dad. Ramsay stabs his dad, and remember, he feeds his like half brother to the dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ramsay, he's on another plane.
Eric, I love that you're here. Go, Eric. Shut up, Eric, right now. Yes.
Well, thank you. So he's in that category.
I think Ramsay's. I don't know. In
he's
terms
in
of just
league.
Pure evil, I think Ramsay's the king. I think he's probably the best villain still.
At least with this guy, Beetlejuice, he has some level of like he can kind of have noble conversations without it going to the extreme. Ramsay just went from 0 to 100. Like there's no nice ways about it. He's just cutthroat.
That was one of my favorite reveals too. I was
What that Ramsay was crazy.
Or do you mean that?
Because when we first met him, and he let
him go. He let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way they build him up is awesome. Like how he's actually helping Theon out all that time.
Right.
And he was Like that's like the only character in neither of these shows still that actually, like, it's not just that I hate him. I actually like felt kind of like I always felt creeped out and like just nervous whenever he was on screen.
It was a smile. It was a smile for me.
That face,
it was a smile for me.
Joffrey I hated, but he didn't do that to me. Still, like Ramsay, I think is the scariest character.
Different. I think Ramsay was different because both of him and Joffrey, I think, were crazy, were a little off, or very off. But Ramsay was smart, and that's what made him truly scary. Joffrey wasn't smart at all. He was just reactive. Yeah. But my thing, what y'all say his name was? Beetlejuice?
Whatever. Beetlejuice.
But that's what to call him. Yeah.
The whole time every time he's in there talking to Allison, I'm thinking to myself, girl, what does he want? Like he's coming to, what does he want? I'm thinking, did I miss that scene somewhere where he said, because I'm like, he has a price. Nobody comes to you with this type of stuff without demanding a price. So when he said that, oh, you'll pay me back or whatever, and she's sitting there looking like shell shocked. I'm like, yeah, dummy, you thought all this was free?
That's what I was talking about earlier. That's what I was talking about earlier. She be faking like she don't know what she doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, yo, what did you expect him to do?
She didn't know. She didn't know.
She underestimated him.
She didn't know what she did.
Not smart. She thinks she's smart, but it's just like, girl, your father didn't teach you enough, or I don't know what the issue is, but you are not intelligent. Because the whole time every time she's talking to him, I'm like, don't trust him, don't trust him, don't trust him. He wants something. Nobody does this. Nobody does anything nice in Westeros for nothing. No one does anything nice in freaking Los Angeles for nothing. So I just didn't understand why she just wasn't comprehending that. And she's like, I can't believe I didn't ask you to do that. Shut up. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say she knows now. I think this is gonna be a moment for her. I think next time she's not gonna be.
Now I'm upset. I'm sorry. I'm upset because now my blood pressure's high because I'm just like, really, I can't stand her.
She capped, bro.
She very much. Sorry. I'm so sorry. When that I'm sorry, that particular scene really did bother me because I was just like, you cannot be that dumb.
Yeah.
You cannot be that dumb. But
it just goes to show that she's still, we talked about the maybe not to Eric's point as far as maybe going into that Cersei route, but I still think there's still a little bit of that innocence and just kind of knowing certain things in front of her. She's not fully, all the way.
She hasn't suffered consequences.
Yeah.
That's what it is. This whole time she thought she was smart, but she's never had to face any actual consequences for anything.
She got blood on her hands, but in this episode, not knowingly, but obviously working with someone like this, consequences for sure. Man, this guy, this the look, man. And I think it was either Eric or Skylar where you were talking about him. It almost reminds me of like the reverse of Tyrion, I'm sorry, because he was always, made fun of. He was the people poke fun at him, and he obviously, we know he was, was a good guy. But what if he would have went down that route and had that animosity, that hatred, that vengeance, and if he could be essentially what we're seeing with this character? So, man, this guy is he's something else, y'all.
Do we know what his drama was? Do we know why he hated his family to that degree?
No, it goes back to what we talked about earlier. Again, I know that the 10 years, if they didn't show it, is for a reason, but I think there would have been, we probably, if they would have explored those 10 years, that we might have gotten a little bit more understanding of their family dynamic.
He probably just feels unseen.
Yeah.
I think he's bullied. Yeah,
but his brother's freaking sleeping with the queen and doing all this stuff.
His brother was the football player anyway.
Right.
His brother was the cool kid. His brother's the handsome one. His brother's liked by everybody. He's a knight.
Then that's when you develop a personality. You become like a stand-up comedian or something.
I would say he got personality.
It's not comedy, but he developed some things.
Right. He's something else. He is something else.
I just don't understand, and y'all, and forgive me because I came in late, so y'all might have talked about this. But has anybody noticed that like all of these issues are being driven by the older men in the show? Like
like fathers,
like their fathers, like Otto was the one that put all this stuff in Allison's head. She's gonna kill your baby. She's gonna do all this stuff. And it's like Rhaenyra was never gonna do any of that stuff. Never. That was just never going to happen. But so now Allison's going around doing all of this stuff, thinking she has to protect the family. So now she's passing it on to her kid, and her oldest son is
trauma.
like, yeah, he's like, I won't challenge her for the throne. And she's like, yes, you will, yes, you will. And it's just, that's your father talking. Like, all of this is a blend of hyper conservatism, right? One, because they're just like with the honor and everything. But then two, it's like if Otto wasn't in his daughter's ear, especially in that last conversation, none of this would happen. Them boys wouldn't be challenging Rhaenyra because they don't want it. You know, there wouldn't be all this drama. Like, it's just so much of the ghost of Otto that I'm just like,
about that.
Yeah,
I don't think I agree with that.
I think it's Viserys' fault. That's who I think's fault it is.
You blame Viserys?
My king?
Yeah. Oh yeah, your king. Yeah.
No.
Because if Viserys did
Had
what he was
done what?
supposed to do,
Which was
and
what? What was he supposed to do?
oh, she's gonna fight. All right. We're
establishing
talking about her king.
Establishing Rhaenyra as the heir, Rhaenyra wouldn't have been acting out. Rhaenyra, like, if he put his brother in his place, like, put him at least on the council, put him by his side, like he wanted to. Maybe not necessarily the hand or anything, but if he did that, we wouldn't be in a situation with Daemon, or even if he married the 12-year-old girl. Like, there's so many options. Like, I feel like Otto, they both are to blame, but I feel like more so it's because of the king's like passivity. Like, he ain't chopped nobody head off yet for saying nothing.
First
He
of
letting
all,
it rock.
that's not nice.
He letting it rock.
Not nice.
He letting the rumors rock. That's all I'm trying to say.
I don't know. I think this is all a result of everybody's decisions. I don't know that I would say that it's because of the men's decisions that this Rhaenyra chose to sleep with old boy.
Facts.
And that was a decision that she made. She was trying to sleep with her uncle. You know, everybody made a decision. Yes, the king's decisions I'm waiting for their repercussions, and here they're coming. Because I was always like, the king's decisions have not resulted in anything horrendous yet. The king made a decision to name his daughter as his heir, which is the most courageous thing anybody has done on the show at all. It's super courageous. It's super forward thinking, and he's a G for that. And you know what? Yes, he has made some decisions that make him look weak, but he's never been. You know, it's I don't know. You guys, I know everybody runs the king low. So no, I don't think it's everybody made some decisions, and it's Game of Thrones, and everybody's trying to hustle for position. So no, everybody's played a part in this. Everybody's decisions have got us where we are right now. Yeah, it's added to it. I don't think it's
I think with the king, I agree with you with the king. Like, I think the issue with the king, at least for me, is the same issue that I think we all had with Ned Stark, right? When the show first started, he was a good man trying to do the right thing, but it's once again not understanding that this isn't your, like, someone had told me this before, like, once in a job, like, this is not your game board, right? Like, these are not your rules that are set. These are not your players. You have to play their game to be successful. And they did not play. Ned didn't play the game. He wanted to do the honorable thing, which is great. Right. Like, that's what you should do.
That's a way to play the game. He just played it and lost. That's a way to play. Right.
No, it's a way to play.
It's a losing game.
But it's a way to play and lose, right? And so I think that's what's happening with the king. Is the king,
Not necessarily. You might not lose. We'll see.
Well,
he lost an arm.
He lost some arm, lost some fingers, lost some hair.
I can't believe Elliot didn't see that arm was missing. I said, Elliot, how did you not see that man's whole arm missing?
I mean, because every time I see him on screen, I just
he lost an arm.
You didn't see it either? You guys.
I missed that.
Don't nobody tell me nothing.
Yeah. I'm starting to think he's like gonna be around still, like secretly.
With his head,
right? His head's gonna be in a
like if you draw
pop up in like the Jon Snow show.
But I think
he'll be like he'll just maybe secretly left and went beyond the wall.
Yeah, man, he's the true Night King. He's the real Night King.
He'll just be like a pickled head and a talking head in a jar that Jon Snow will carry around.
Very walking
deadish ancestor.
I just think that the king, if you're going to be forward thinking, you also need to know when to boss up. And
that's
so, like, you gotta know
Why do you
when
think
you gotta cut some heads.
What has happened that has been a result of him not bossing up? Everything that the king has seemed to have wanted, he seems to have gotten, even though he's done it in a way that you guys don't believe is strong. we can
So
see that the king clearly sees everything. We're thinking, oh, he can't see that Otto's trying to manipulate him. Oh, he can't see that his brother. None of us want Damon's head chopped off, and that's what he would have had to do. Why? You don't want to chop off your brother's head. You don't want to have to chop off your wife's head. You don't want to have to chop off your daughter's head. And those three people are the ones that keep bucking him. Everybody else does what he says. You know, they might test him a little bit, but what I don't want is a petty king who's turning around killing everybody. Otherwise, we would have had Damon. This is a king that approaches it from a different, non-petty perspective.
But what if he had
I
a
agree
dragon,
with
though?
you. I agree
Yeah.
with you, but I think what I wish have liked to seen him do
Yeah.
was position Rhaenyra in a way where it was indisputable for her to
Yes.
be
Man,
looked
that's
at.
all
And
I'm
he
saying.
doesn't do
Yes.
that. He's just
Yes.
like, you the heir, and that's it. And I'm like, no, you need to put her in some battles. You need
Yeah.
to put her in some sort of position where people
Yeah.
look at her as a level of authority before you pass away. So
Her
that by the time
preparation is not right. You're
Yeah.
right.
It's
Her
not- yeah.
Rhaenyra's preparation is lacking,
So-
and I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Even she was still pouring wine when she shouldn't have been. He did not.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't think that
Yeah.
he has backed her in the way that he should have and prepared her.
Yeah.
That's
She
why it's his
seems
fault.
uncoached.
Yeah.
And he knows
What
that
is his?
those aren't his.
Gee, what
her
is his
kids.
fault? What has happened that is his fault? Tell me what the fault is. Gosh darn it!
Listen,
I
man,
will say
I
them
think he should have
kids.
nipped that relationship in the bud with his brother. He didn't have to kill
Right.
him. He did not
What
have
did you
to
want
kill
him
his
to do?
brother.
What did you want him to do
Send
with
him to
Damon? He
the
didn't
wall.
banish him. He did banish him. Damon just keeps coming
Listen.
back because he's hard-headed.
Because he knows who his brother is. He knows the
Right.
true intentions of.
He
Send him to
knows
the
that
wall,
his
yeah.
brother
He is-
loves him. That's not a
Right.
crime, guys. And
It
Damon
is not a
keeps it.
crime, but
It's
there's
not
a
a crime.
level of knowing
What-
that your brother means
See,
serious
stop-
business, and he
see,
doesn't
I
have
thought-
that demeanor
I-
to him.
Tell me, Johnny,
Stop-
what you thinking?
Stop having children with Allison.
Yes.
Stop undermining.
We're picking your
Stop-
daughter's best friend. Yeah.
Stop undermining.
Yeah.
Stop. You're undermining the claim of your daughter by having
Right.
Yeah.
more children with
That's a good
Allison.
point.
Even by having
Yeah.
one, you undermine the claim.
See,
Yep.
I thought what would have happened was when Rhaenyra's like, we should have been left, right? We should have went to Dragonstone. Like, I thought that she would have been on the type of time like Damon was on, which is like he's building alliances, he's
Right.
having these conversations with all these different people. Then
Right.
that would, her name would start to travel across the realm, because even in the early episodes, anytime Rhaenyra walked in the room, nobody stood up.
Right.
They didn't address her as heir to the throne. Like, so if all those things started happening, because at this point the king could die this second, and
Is going to die this second.
but I'm just saying he could
He
die
might
this
be
second,
dead
and
right
we
now.
still don't know. It's still a 50-50 chance if Rhaenyra's going to still be on the throne.
Oh, we know
Because-
she's going on the throne. It's just, will they allow for it? We know that she's.
That's what I'm saying.
We know it.
like-
We know that she's going to be there, but what are they going to do?
Optics is everything too. Like you name her the heir, and then she's still the cupbearer.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
bad.
exactly.
That was
It's
poor.
terrible.
Exactly.
That was
But
poor.
I also blame the king for her having all them kids, because
You
part
blame
of
the
I
king
think
for her having all those
Mhm.
children.
I
Okay.
do because I think part of being a leader is knowing when to have the hard conversations, right? You have that at work, you have that in life with your friends. You say, look, we need to have just you and me right now. We need to have the real. I see that little black-haired baby. Okay, you are the heir. You cannot be doing that. I don't want a non-Targaryen, even though he still have Targaryen, on the throne. He should have sat her down instead of not letting her. But it shouldn't have gotten to where she has 3 obviously bastard children that further undermines her position. Like but he didn't want to see it because he's such a nice guy and he loves his daughter and he just doesn't want to give in to the rumors. When he should have sat her down after that first baby and said, look,
Facts.
what are you doing? Just the same way that she sat down,
get one.
Rhaenyra sat down with her husband and said, let's make this
That's
deal.
all you got to get one.
Right.
That's all you gotta do. Just one.
Just one. Well, I don't think
He needs to address it. I don't know that he needed to address it. He should have just made it.
It's running from it.
Well, what he
Yeah.
should have done is beheaded somebody.
Wait,
No,
wait,
yeah,
wait.
I know,
wait,
I
now-
know, I know,
now-
I know,
people- that's
I
what I'm
know,
saying.
I know, but I think he should have flexed one good
Oh,
time.
we
Or
got it.
Rhaenyra should have flexed. Somebody needs to flex.
He's close.
He should have
guys.
flexed one good
Back.
time in the beginning, in the very, very beginning, when that person came and was like, "Hey, we heard Rhaenyra's sleeping with somebody." That was his opportunity to flex real hard, and then that would have
Mhm.
never. Then even
That's
if
what
she
I'm
did have
saying.
all these black-haired
Yeah.
kids, everybody would have been scared to say anything against her. That is a missed opportunity by the king. And that's where I'm like, but Rhaenyra also is responsible for that, in my opinion. Rhaenyra,
Oh yeah,
look,
ultimately,
sis,
yeah.
like, what you doing? What you doing? And I don't know how you're gonna fix that. And now Alicent done had your baby's daddy killed, and she's about to be very upset about that. I don't think that's gonna go over well for Alicent. I think that's gonna be what makes Rhaenyra want to attack Alicent now. Because I was like,
Yeah.
what is she gonna
Now it's
do?
personal.
I said now we got an issue.
Yeah.
They
go ahead.
they one thing, I don't know, you guys also might have talked about this already, but one thing I really appreciated was the relationship between Rhaenyra and Famalam guy, her husband.
Lenore.
Yeah, because when she was like, we gotta go, and forgive me if y'all talked about this, but when she was like, we gotta go, and she said, but you can bring your side piece too. We're gonna need all the extra swords we can get, like, because she's like, like I may not have my man, but you can have yours. Like, I just appreciated. They have, like, they're not in love, obviously, but you can tell that they have a marriage. That's a union. They love each other. Partners. That's what I should say. They have a partnership. And in an environment like in Game of Thrones, where nobody is really in a partnership or everybody betraying each other, it was nice to see that they still had each other's back like that, even all these, years later and all this drama.
No, I couldn't agree with you more, Scott. I think we talked about earlier. It's not a coincidence that Lenore and his sister, Lena, are good partners because they're parents, right? Corlys and Rhaenys seem to have, as you just mentioned, the only power couple that we've really seen that are on the same page. So I don't think it's a coincidence that they grew up in that household, seeing their parents, how they communicate, how they agree on things, or even if they disagree, they somehow come to some type of agreement. So I think we're seeing that relationship, as they're adults now. But unfortunately, one of them, which I just want to get to this point here because my heart, I'm still trying to recover, guys. Eric, again, I know you read the book, my friend, but still seeing the execution. And I think Mac mentioned it earlier that we've only gotten from her as a little girl, 2-3 minute scene, but it was a standout scene. It was the moment where Viserys was, somewhat courting her and potentially going to marry her. We saw her when she was a little bit older at the wedding. She stood out in the wedding when she gave that look to Daemon. I mean, didn't even really speak, but she still had that presence to her. And this episode to showcase that this character, man, was short-lived, Eric, and I'm really gonna miss her, man. And I have a picture of the 3 different actors that played her. They all did great in my eyes. R.I.P. to Lena. She was fantastic.
But they all
Eric.
had bad wigs.
They did, Skylar, but the
Party
performance
City
outweighed
wigs.
the wigs, man. The cadence, the screen presence, the charisma, the attention to detail as far as what they said and how they said it was just fantastic, man. Eric, we lost a good one, man, tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. It's hard to compare someone like, it's like clearly a sad death, but it's hard to compare a death like this to like you said, like a longer running character, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, this isn't like a Ned Stark dying or various other characters we got. But for me, if I'm being honest, it still kind of hit me hard because I just thought that young lady did such a great job, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, she went out like a boss, like we said. I don't know. It was tragic, but I'm sort of, I don't know. I guess I'm a bit desensitized for
it's understandable. I understand. Yeah. I hear you.
Unless it's like I'm sort of, I don't know. This is how I've been watching the show since like for years now, right? I have like a couple people I'm like protective of. Right. And as long as they're safe, I'm just sort of like, well, this is par for the course.
Right. There's like death, a place. Come on.
Next. I'm like watching Game of Thrones. I'm like, okay, are Jon, Tyrion, and Daenerys, maybe Arya, are they safe? Okay, then I'm good.
Right.
Eric's more surprised that she survived this long. That's what Eric's pretty much saying. Like, how did she make it all the way to 6 episodes? Is my question. Johnny, man, just your thoughts on this. Again, we know she died, and again, but I'm just curious. Did you feel? How did you feel about this death, man? How did you feel about this character, the performance?
I couldn't believe that I felt as gutted as I did.
Yeah,
because she wasn't really like on that long. She was only like on part of the episode last. And
literally 3. I think like 3 or 4 scenes that we got her in the show.
I mean, I really started to have an affinity for the character, and everything that they had built up together as a couple, and I was like, gee, I was thinking, okay, this is going to be like the next power couple, and here we go, and this is going to be great. And it was so sad because the dragon obviously resisted.
Oof.
Oh,
Yeah.
The
man.
Oh.
it took 3
Kept
times. for her
blinking.
to- yeah, the dragon's
That
like,
hurt.
no, I'm not going to do it. And then she's like, yeah, you have to do it. And and it was so sad. But yeah, I didn't think that I would feel that way about a character that like hasn't been on the show that much.
Yeah.
More about like the ones that have been on longer. I can't even think of one for Game of Thrones, but a longer character. But it was kind of like more about the potential that this character held for
Yeah.
me.
That's my thing.
And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
it's the unfulfilled potential, and I don't like to come into shows with with notions, because then you get disappointed. But it was just during the episode itself where I said, okay, wow, this is pretty cool. This is this is gonna be good. But then gone.
Right.
Game of Thrones.
Listen, man, they said in this very episode when we have the voiceover by Beetlejuice, when he's talking about how the kids are just kind of almost the
crutch.
downfall,
The
but the crutch of the weakness of all these characters. And
Yeah.
literally her kid, her unborn child that unfortunately wasn't complications in birth, led to her death, which we saw that with Emma earlier in episode 1. So it's a very deep theme there. But Mac, I want to get your thoughts on this character, how you felt about her, and again, someone that had very little screen time but was able to leave this impact and go out in such a way that was just kind of epic. And sad.
She was such a strong character for her 5 minutes of fame. I mean, she gave us everything that we needed to see. We got a chance to see her as a mother. We got a chance to see her as a wife. We got a chance to see her as somebody who was moving
A
politics.
dragon rider.
We got
the
to see
biggest
her.
dragon in
She
Westeros.
gave us so much in her the strongest 5 you will ever see.
I
And that's
agree.
why,
I agree.
I mean, oh my goodness, it was. But the way that they did it was just elegant, in my opinion. The way that she committed, here, the way she did it was just so beautiful. I was like, this is so amazing. And Damon coming as the whole thing, and it was beautiful. I know that sounds insane. It wasn't beautiful, but I mean, the shots were pretty.
Yep.
She was pretty. Everything that we wanted. I mean, she just was all the things. And yes, they pulled at our gut strings. It was done just beautifully. This is absolutely my favorite episode, and she is the reason why. Everybody else was, whatever. She and Damon are why, but everybody else was kind of like, eh. But this seeing her and seeing her move and seeing her at the table and listening to why she wanted her children to do this and that, and she gave us everything, guys. So yeah, I mean, I hated to see her go, but the way that they did it was just beautiful.
It was great. I mean, you said something that I agree with, Mac. It was the mother, seeing her being a mom, being a wife, and also not biting her tongue. We've been talking about it. We had a almost 20-minute conversation about Varys and biting his tongue, and some of these characters not speaking their mind. She spoke her mind, right? And she shows that you can do it in a way that it's not violence, it's not being, showing your dominance and whatnot. She did it in a way that was just so powerful and memorable. G, man, your thoughts on this performance, man?
I'm hurt, man.
Yeah,
I'm hurt because it was for me. It gave a lot of characters motive now, like especially the kids, because I feel like with the kids right now, the reason why they're so like dry for the most part, except for like Aegon, because he's just gonna be a menace, is because they ain't got no motive for real. So y'all talked about a little bit earlier. If she inherits her dragon, if the daughter inherits her dragon, that's just a whole nother dynamic. And now, with Damon, that's another way he could connect with his kids, because it's just like loss brings you together, what I'm saying? And maybe that's how they connect. I don't know. But it was that, and the fact that it was just like, I just was not expecting that to be the thing that was going to happen at the end. I thought she was not going to make it, but I didn't think it was going to be death by a dragon. Like it was just when I was like, nah, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Like, and even the dragon was in disbelief, you know what I'm saying? So
the dragon was upset with the writers, like, y'all killing her like this,
right. So it was tough. It was probably the worst death this whole show so far for me.
But the best.
It's
worst
up there
of
with.
that.
I think I still have empathy for Emma, the queen who passed away. That she went out with not her decision. It was
Yeah.
her husband's decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one's still up there with me. But Skylar, man, your thoughts on this performance? And did you feel? Are you like my man Eric? Was like, she was cool, but let's keep it moving, guys. Or did you feel some remorse with this baby die?
No, it hurt me. It hurt me. Ever since when she was a little girl, her character was a little girl. I was drawn to that character. She's had a presence about her, which she got from her mother and watching her mother and father interact. But just it sucked. And to be honest, it's like as I'm watching when I was watching her, I was thinking I would have loved to have seen her spinoff show. I would have loved to have seen this family.
Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, man. Isn't there a C show, a sake show with her father at a younger age or something? So I don't know if we'll see them as kids again. But I'm sorry, not to cut you off, Scott, but I think we might get another spinoff with. I don't know if the kids will be in it though, because I think it's going to be about their dad, and him being a sea snake. But neither here nor there. Go ahead.
Is it going to be another prequel?
Yeah, there's like 7 more shows that have been in development right now.
They're going to bleed this dry.
I'm scared of them going like overboard though. I don't want them to go like Marvel with it.
It's a universe, baby.
Yeah.
Let's start going.
Wasn't too many Marvel shows. Like it's a lot. But I would love to work on one of them if anybody out there is watching and hiring. But I loved her character. What I thought was really interesting, as upset as I was watching her go, I thought to myself, man, she was only on the show for 3.5 minutes. Like that's like 2.5 Lil Nas X songs. But like, imagine if she had been a regular character like in the original Game of Thrones, and we got to go with her for 3, 4, 5 seasons. Like when Marjorie Terrell, was in that the Sept, and like that hurt, right? I was like, damn, not Marjorie, but we got to go all the way with that. So if we'd have gotten to have a similar journey with I can't remember her name, but the Black Queen. Lena, thank you. If we'd have gotten to see that, just like I don't think any of us could do this show right now. We'd all be ugly crying talking about her because like she was just that powerful. That's a testament to the actress. I think it's also a testament to the writing staff on this show. The fact that they're able to keep us this engaged, not only with this number of characters, but to do these time jumps and it not feel like it's a time jump. Like I don't think I've seen a show do that before. And like I genuinely care about these people. Like because somebody's gonna do a YouTube video at some point and it's gonna say every Lena scene in Game of Thrones or in House of Dragon, and it's going to be like 2.5 minutes long, but it'll be the most powerful 2.5 minutes of this entire series.
I'm gonna have to write that out. I might make that video.
Go ahead and do it.
Go ahead and get
that viral
footage going. Yeah.
Right.
Just gotta chop it up right.
Real quick.
Body.
Show pictures. Just show pictures. No movement. Just show pictures.
Right. There you go.
Go ahead, Eric. What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say, don't get me wrong. I did feel.
That was his best. I know.
Poor Eric.
Eric was a guy.
Eric
I have a heart.
If anything, I would say, maybe now that you're bringing it up, like maybe with the whole time jump, I know I said mostly I didn't feel anything at all. Like I mean, in terms of like no blipping, like you guys said, like it was pretty smooth. Yeah. But yeah, I guess I wouldn't have minded seeing a bit more of Lena in like her previous stage, especially. I felt like I don't know. I was actually curious to see that middle
spicy
do some more.
I want to see her bond with Vagar. I would love to have seen her meet the dragon for the first time, ride that dragon. I love that scene.
So I mean, those are some things I think maybe maybe those are some little things I could see where you guys are coming from that we're missing out on a bit. Yeah. But yeah, maybe no, I thought it was a super powerful scene and everything. But yeah,
Eric.
I know Eric's like, listen.
Eric's like, let me renege. Let me back up. Let me be clear. Eric, we get it.
Let me not get canceled too.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Eric. We get it.
I'm just like, but like this is Game of Thrones. Like there's like
somebody got.
Don't get too attached. Don't get too attached.
The Red Wedding. And honestly,
I thought last week was gonna be this week. Like weren't you guys expecting more deaths like that were scarier last week than this week? This caught me off guard.
Yeah. I think like the only, I don't know. I mean, he still had way more screen time, but the character that you could say was sort of like a short-lived character that definitely like had the biggest impact on me was definitely Oberyn. Like he just
Listen, that name sounds
Prince
so
Oberyn.
familiar.
Oh,
Where, Eric? Who? Which one?
Oh,
Season 4 of
Pedro
Game of
Pascal.
Thrones, like
Yeah,
what's his
Pedro
name?
Pascal's
Pedro
character.
Pascal.
Yeah.
A Viper.
Yeah, I was
Viper.
sick.
when he got
Yeah,
his
I
head
was sick
smashed
of that.
in by
Spoke
the.
his
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
By the
Yeah.
mountain. Yeah.
Yes.
I like
Yeah,
Game
Mine
of
was
Thrones.
Hodor.
that was probably the death that actually like possibly scarred me the most.
That was
Like,
shocking
that's-
as hell. I
That
remember that
was
episode.
shocking.
Like
Yeah.
I wasn't
Tyrion's
caught
mouth.
up on the books at that point, so
Yeah.
I didn't know what was coming.
Mine was
And
Hodor.
that got me more than the Red Wedding. Honestly,
That's what
that
hurt
one.
me.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I was
Yeah.
comatose for like 3 days after the Red Wedding. I had
The
to
Red
call
Wedding,
off
no,
work
still
and
hit
everything.
harder.
I
for
could,
me.
yeah, I still.
For me.
When he
The Red
stabbed
Wedding
the
is-
pregnant woman's
for me-
belly, I just couldn't. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I
was
guess
done.
season 4 was the first one I watched live, so I was still
Oh,
kind
when
of
it was on TV. Yeah.
caught up with the seasons 2 and 3 and stuff, and I think maybe I sort of knew roughly something bad happened at the end of season 3, so I was actually expecting something worse.
Man, could you imagine the Red
like,
Wedding?
Oh no, I was like expecting Tyrion to bite it or something. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Rob Stark, okay.
Right. I can only imagine if
No.
the Red Wedding would happen
Yeah.
in today's TikTok,
Rob
Twitter
Stark.
era. That would have been talked about for ages as far as just the social media presence and
We still talking about it today.
you still
Yeah,
Right
that's
now.
what-
Like
yeah.
right now.
I'm
Like,
being honest with
no,
you,
that
Mac.
Red
I don't
Wedding
even
hit
know if they
different.
would have if it would have even been allowed on television. You know, not saying that it was like decades ago, but I don't know if they would have went to that extreme with today's kind of censorship on violence.
with the real, you might be right.
Especially
with
with
the real
even-
violence.
babies,
You can
you know,
tell,
not to
like,
get too
in- in House of the Dragon, as brutal as it is, I think they're like being a little more careful with
Oh yeah.
how they
yeah.
do certain things.
100%.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that I always criticize, and a lot of people, not just myself, but like, you know, sexualizing the scenes, you know, sexual scenes were very handily different. And now they have, you know, women's point of view on it. The woman director from episode 4 with the whole scene of Rhaenyra and Daemon and Rhaenyra and Cole, Kristen Cole. So yeah, there's definitely a different lens that is much needed on this show. And
Even
they,
the
I mean,
gore,
hell, they
too.
still get away with some of the stuff that you can't really do on any TV. That we see the deaths
Yeah,
of
no, I
mothers
mean, I
giving
think
birth
that's
and all that.
the impressive thing, though. Like, they're still like, even though they're like kind of adjusting it to a bit, they're still like they're not shying away.
Still
from it.
vicious.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not,
it's still
not
super
watered
vicious.
down, I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
You know what
I
was
agree.
great about her death, other than the fact that it was beautiful and amazing, is that she controlled her own destiny. It
Exactly.
wasn't
Yeah.
decided by,
It wasn't,
you know,
her
it was like,
husband
no,
killing her. or,
no, Damon didn't get a chance to make that decision.
Yeah.
Nobody
Right.
did. She
Put
made
a
her
hurdle
own.
on her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How'd
that
you
was-
sneak away though? That's my thing.
That-
How do you even get
First
away?
of all, and she was gone too. I said, no,
And,
nobody saw you get out there, Damon.
Right.
What was you? You was thinking, like,
Valerians.
knock it off. But you know, we're gonna go with the magic on that. We're not gonna dive too deep.
All
We're gonna
right,
go with
right.
the magic and be like, she was wow.
She said, if this baby don't fall out on the way, then I'm out. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going.
And I just knew the baby was coming. I was like, oh, he's gonna
Yeah.
breathe on her and she's gonna have this baby. I was
What
like,
if
oh,
Damon
those are
saved
the
her
wrong
from the
words.
fire?
I was like, oh no, those are the
Yeah.
wrong words. Like, don't say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That'd been
She was a real G, and I
Yeah, she went out.
one thing I noticed about her too is it's ironic. The people that should be in power in these shows don't get to be in power
Mhm.
because
Mm.
clearly her and her mother and father have such a level of both grace, mercy, but also that toughness to deal with
Decisiveness.
that decisive.
Yeah.
Thank you. To where they would have been a much better ruling family. The way she took ownership of her own death,
Yeah.
like she has a level of control that, like, clearly, and as much as I love Rhaenyra, clearly Rhaenyra doesn't have. Right? She doesn't know. She can't control her life. Right?
She's
To a certain
younger than
extent.
Rhaenyra too. She's
And she's younger than
4 or
she's
5
younger
years
than
younger.
Rhaenyra. So
Ooh,
you
she
would
didn't look
think
it though.
Yeah,
well,
yeah. Well, I mean, listen, Rhaenyra, she's dealing with people trying to kill her left and right. It puts some little age on you.
And that's also one thing too, where it's like, we've all said this before. Why does anybody want that damn throne? It's just problems. It's headaches.
Yeah.
Like everybody coming out to get you. Like I was so happy to see Damon grow up and be like, actually, no, I'm kind of chill out here. We don't need the power. I thought I wanted that. I don't need that. Like, I'm good. I got my beautiful black babies. We got money. We got
dragons.
resources.
Oh, yeah.
We got dragons. Like,
Yeah.
girl, I'm good. And I was just like, yes, Damon.
I like Damon's
You
response
on your
about it
grown man.
being simple. He said this is a simple transaction. He
Right.
says
Yep.
they want
Play with
this,
coins,
they
we
gonna
got
give me
dragons.
this. It was
Mhm.
Yep.
simple. It was simple. It was straightforward. I liked it too, Damon. I get it.
Yeah.
Love
That's
it.
why I
Yeah.
was expecting more of Rhaenyra. I was like, yo, you still sitting under your father's thumb. Like, you got to make your own way in
Yeah.
this. And she's
Right.
just sitting back, letting stuff happen to her.
Yeah,
So
that was a bad
Yeah.
move.
Which is
She
so
should have
weird
been
because that's
gone.
not how she was in the
grew up.
beginning.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yep.
there was a switch between what her naivete and Alicent's, and this was
Mhm.
weird, but it's coming because when she finds out what
Oh, yeah.
happened and how, once
Mhm.
she gets wind of something, it's
Yeah.
gonna
Maybe the 3
traumatize her.
pregnancies had something to do with it.
Yeah,
To
kind
just
of
being
And
comfortable.
change her perspective.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
Mac
why
is a
is
perfect segue into the death that we got here, which I don't think it's a coincidence that both of Damon, the way he lost his wife, and obviously now with Harwin being death by fire in a much different way.
I didn't even catch that.
Eric, man, your thoughts on this? Again, I know Max brought it up that we, officially haven't seen the body, and I know you mentioned the after show showed only one casket or whatnot, but assuming that Harlan is dead, your thoughts on this scene and the implications that it can apply for the future of this season?
me. You want me?
Eric, go
Did you
ahead.
say
Go ahead,
Eric?
Eric. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll toss to you, Mac.
Yeah, see, I guess this is the kind of death that, not that I cared about this character as much, but this is the kind that makes me cringe more, just because it's like, he's not going out on his own terms. He's
Right.
Slow and painful.
Right.
he's battling at the door, like with his dad on the other side, and it's like fire collapsing on him.
Yeah.
I mean, she got burnt too, but I mean, like we said, it was her own doing. So yeah, this was a pretty brutal way to go out. And again, even though I'd read the books, I don't remember every little detail when everything happened. So I didn't necessarily expect this to like happen at the end of this episode.
Man.
And so I was like, oh man, we were just kind of, this guy felt in some ways, I think, even though he's showed up before, he didn't really become an actual character really till this episode.
Right.
So yeah, it was a little bit like, oh, okay, we're just getting to know this guy. I
Right.
mean, I wouldn't say I was heartbroken, but I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's
Down
that's
bad.
the game.
Yeah.
And although I guess maybe Lionel almost feel worse for, because we were getting to know him, and he was a
man.
good
Good
hand.
guy.
I mean,
Yeah.
actually, we talk about the king as being one of the only kind of, you could say, I guess, noble characters left
Yeah,
in the
Viserys
show.
was like begging for it. Like, don't know, dude. You're not leaving my side. You have
But-
been a
Yeah.
good hand of the king. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but Lionel, I guess just because he's a smaller character, he's off my radar sometimes. But no, he really seemed like a good guy, and and it's sad because he even seemed like not just a good guy like the king, but a pretty smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he actually was playing the game, and usually the people that play the game survive a bit longer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess unfortunately his son is like straight up the little finger of the show, so he's like playing the game on a whole other level. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just really, I don't know. It was a cool moment more than anything, more than for the characters that died. It was a badass kind of moment for Laris, right? For Clubfoot
Yeah.
or Littlefoot
Beetle man.
or Beetlejuice. So I'm excited for just how much the show's like setting him up as like this big kind of villain, so similar to Littlefinger, and I'm wondering. I mean, I'm wondering sort of, exactly what his end game is, but also, I mean, I feel like it's probably the simplest answer. It's probably same as Littlefinger. I mean, at the end of the day, it's
power, respect. Yeah.
So that's probably all there really is to it. But I'm just excited to see where all that goes and how it further like pits, Rhaenyra and Alicent against each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Alicent sort of indirectly had this done. And,
Right. Without calling his sanction or his death. I mean, it's just
and even just I'm not sure if that came up in the book, but just like because even if Viserys were to find that out, like how would he respond to Alicent, right?
Yeah.
Right.
She like kind of had his hand killed, basically.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So that's
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I think Otto also has a little bit of play in this, and what's going on here. But Mac, tossing it to you on this death, and also Mac, this is 2 weeks in a row now, or maybe not 3 weeks, but 3 times now that we've seen a small little creature pop up on this show, which is a little rat that keeps popping up.
Yeah, the rats.
Very, very suspicious. But your thoughts on the death? And again, I was just watching a scene where Eric was talking. I'm pretty sure back that
he's gone.
Harlan's gone. Yeah,
I believe you.
The things falling
He's gone.
on him. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's
Okay,
gone.
I'll take it. My friend Tasha, who's an absolute genius about all things, says, "Did we notice that his son kills him and then makes a speech about how children are a weakness?" Like, she killing it with that. Like,
It cut in perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, she's absolutely right. But then again, she's a genius, so she's gonna be right. Shout out to you, Tasha. Yeah, he's. I hated it. You know, he only had 5 minutes too, but I liked him too. I liked him from the moment that he saw Rhaenyra come in with that beast, and he like, you know, and yeah, he had little moments where we totally got a chance to connect with him. This episode, we learned that he's daddy to all these kids. I was like, okay, like she needs a companion too. So, okay, and then I saw how he was dealing and how he was watching over his children and he was coming to their defense. And I'm like, okay, I like it. And I was hoping that I didn't want this for him. And I certainly didn't want this for his daddy, who we know is somebody who was not for self. And the king called it. He's like, he's the one I trust. Like, you're not for self. No, not you. And I just hated that the king did not dismiss Allison. God, I wanted him to put her out the room. And I know that's not nice, but that's what I wanted. I wanted them to be able to have a conversation, because he kept eyeballing her. And I think that conversation, he could have been more vulnerable, not in her presence. The king is like, say what it is. He like, I can't say what it is. And he was ashamed. And he was trying to figure out a way to still protect his kids. And I hated to see him go. And I hate to see those kids' daddy go like that. And I'm very curious to see what Rhaenyra does and how she's affected by it. And I look forward to the next episode. And those rats, I don't know what that means. I do see them. They keep popping up. I don't know what we're doing with it. I don't know what it means. I don't know. And I'm pretty sure I'm Year of the Rat. And so I should know what these things mean, but I don't know. I can't. I don't know what's going on with that yet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally like decaying. So I guess that's why.
Yeah. Skylar, man, your thoughts, tossing it to you on the death of Harlan and man, just how all that played out and this son killing his dad and also his brother, man. That's a cold-hearted something else, man.
Good men don't last long in Westeros.
Yeah.
Good men don't last long. They just it's sad to see, especially from obviously us, the audience, because we get to see everything, right? So it's sort of like we see what this world could be like if good people were allowed to be good. Do you know what I mean? We could see how things could be in Westeros, kind of like how in real life, right? You could see how good things could be if people in real life just did right.
Yeah. And I mean, it's 10 years of peace, when the show starts.
Right. And it's so weird to me how everybody not only takes that for granted, but they're like itching for war. Like, oh, I get to be on the high seas and good battle in me. And I'm just like, war is ugly. People die, you get maimed. Do you want to come back without an eye? Like, stuff happens to people. You lose body parts. People are grieving. You're traumatized. So to see these characters sort of poo-poo on peace, or I'm just like, what? Y'all have no other life skills? You have nothing else you want to do. You just want to fight all the time. I think Viserys should be commended for maintaining peace for as long as he's been able to do it and to keep that train running. But as far as like these deaths, it's just sad to see. Because it's like whatever his son killed them for, it's not worth it. Like, and this might just be like the pacifist in me, but I feel like there's very few moments in life where taking someone's existence away is worth the thing you took it for. Like, you kill somebody over a chain. Was the chain really worth it? You kill somebody for revenge. Well, whatever you were mad at still happened, so it didn't take it away. So to see this guy kill his own family, like you snuffed out your own family.
Your legacy, your family tree. We know family, how strong it is to have people in your corner, and he's taking them out like it's nothing.
And it's like, what is that gonna fix? Your foot's still messed up. Like,
Hey.
Well, I guess
just
does this
like,
now
ah.
give him? We were talking about what's the end game for him. We know that Harwin was going to be granted, the next whatever. I can't remember what his dad said. He was going to be the ownership
the
of.
heir.
Maybe now
Heir.
the era of. Maybe that goes to his younger brother, and I don't know. Well,
You don't know, Elliot. Now he's got the second most powerful person in his pocket. He
Right.
controls the right hand of the throne.
Mm,
No, his
Yeah.
end game was clear.
yeah.
Did
So
anyone
do we
also,
think? I mean, is Otto coming back? Is that what?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He's gonna have to clean this mess up because it's a mess.
Oh,
Oh,
I
is
didn't even
this
think
Otto?
about
Did
that.
Otto
Oh
send
my
Oh
his
man,
gosh.
his daughter
Yeah.
is in a trick bag. She's controlled by somebody, and
Yeah.
the only
Yeah.
person who can bail her out, who she can really tell, is gonna be Daddy. Oh, he coming.
Mhm.
He
Oh,
coming.
he just blew my mind.
I did.
I'm
I
thinking Otto.
she did. I
I
blow
wouldn't
it. All right, I blew
I
his
wouldn't even
mind.
think about. I wouldn't even think about Otto
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
coming back.
MIA this whole
Oh,
episode, but
man.
maybe he was the most impactful doing the stuff behind the scenes potentially. Was you gonna say something, Eric?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, it also reminded me, like, I think only one other time in like all of Game of Thrones, I could be wrong, where there was like the episode sort of ended, or at least towards the end, like with a whole kind of montage, and there was like kind of like someone giving a monologue like this, and then it was like Littlefinger, right? Like in like season 3, there's like he has that whole monologue about chaos as a ladder, and that's what this reminded me of a lot with just further kind of painting him as the Littlefinger of the show.
Right.
Right.
Oh, good call, Johnny. Man, jump in there, man. Your thoughts on this this decision that he makes to kill his father and his brother, and what that can mean for Rhaenyra and possibly Otto's connections to this.
I think Otto's going to slip into the vacuum. I think it suits the Queen very well by eliminating the current hand and making a spot for the old hand, and just so evil for killing his dad and his brother, and I just couldn't take it when I couldn't contemplate it, and when he was taking these guys out of their
cutting their tongues out so they can't even
Genius.
cutting their tongues
getting
out.
drunk one night, like, hey, we're the ones that killed. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god,
They were on death row or something, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
they
got
were
murderers
murderers.
to
Yeah, they
commit
got-
murder.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah.
He's please.
So
And they
this
probably
guy-
can't read or write too, so they can't write it down nowhere.
Probably not, because I was thinking about that. Why didn't you probably have to chop off their hands now? But after they come back, but this guy is just he's like I said before, he's rocketed to the top villain. But Otto's coming back, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting. Very, very interesting. G, your thoughts on this, man? On this decision, what it means, and do you think Otto is going to be like, the puppeteer behind all this?
Yeah, now that y'all said that, I don't know if he's gonna necessarily come back and be the puppeteer of the whole like Westeros, but definitely he gonna get Allison in check and put her on game, because like if he was there, this would have never happened. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
like I might cut her a little bit of slack now, just because before, like, you had the image up earlier where like she first heard the news and she was just like in shock.
Oh,
Like,
she
and
was
she
flabbergasted.
was like, yeah, I'm like, yo, what'd you expect was gonna happen? I was like, are you serious right now? Like, you're playing Game of Thrones. Like, somebody has to go out, So seeing that, and then just like the conversation of the different kids, and like I was saying earlier with like y'all was spitting, man. Like the way y'all was saying earlier, where as a kid, he being his father and his brother's like liability, or in a sense, and lock him in the joint. And I can't help but think, I'm like, man, it must suck to be up that high and not have nowhere else to go, because it's just like you stuck in a room and you couldn't really see the room that much. It didn't look like a huge room, but it was just like, dang, they went out super sick.
Yeah.
But I wasn't falling for the tears at first, but now it's just like, all right, if this means I'll come back, okay, I can get on board with this.
The scales of power and deceit will be on full display, man. And I'm here for it, bro. Ooh, this is the show, man. This is why it's the best show on TV right now. No disrespect to Lord of the Rings or She-Hulk or Andor, which just started, which I think is fantastic so far, and all the other various shows is doing their thing. But it's when Game of Thrones, when HBO is hitting like this, it's just no competition. It's not even fair, if I'm being honest with you all, because it just hits on so many levels. But
well, we got to give credit to George Martin too, though.
Yeah, he's a sick individual. He's come up with these. No, I'm not joking, but he has an imagination that is very, very unique.
Yeah, because we see what happens when his influence is not there. But yeah, it's definitely here with this.
Yeah, man. It's a great story so far, and I'm loving it. And I'm excited to see what's to come. I haven't seen the preview yet. I'm gonna, check it out tonight and do a little trailer breakdown for tomorrow. But very excited for it. But listen, man, 2.5 hours. This dog has been tripping out. He's been ready to go do his thing. But I'm gonna take him out now. But listen, starting with you, G. Always good to have you, man. Excited to catch up with you maybe next week to talk about the next episode. But in the meantime, where can people find you and the next bit of content you got lined up for people?
Yeah, so you catch me at Jonato Reviews on YouTube. My full Woman King review drops tomorrow, and then I got my recaps for this show. I'm gonna start Andor, and we got the podcast dropping this week as well. So definitely stay tuned. And yeah, appreciate the convo, because y'all done opened my eyes to some stuff that today I gotta go back and look. I gotta
I love these conversations. Stuff. Like I said, Sunday is the best day of the week for me. I always look forward to these, G. But definitely check them out, guys. Again, once this video is completely uploaded, information will be in the bio. Very excited to hear your thoughts, G, on Woman King and all the stuff that you got coming up this week. Very excited for it. Johnny, my man, outro out, man. Where can people find you?
You can find me at JohnnyPappas on Twitter, JohnnyPappas Writes on Facebook, and also on my YouTube channel. And I just getting over about with the COVID-19, so I'd wanted to start some more presence on YouTube. But right now I've got some of my short films on there. Check them out, and follow me on Twitter. Let's have a chat.
Yes. I'm glad to hear you doing better, man. Looking good. It's sounding good. Glad you're getting back to your health, man. Eric, my man, who does not care if people die on this show, because he's just kidding. My man Eric always dropping the knowledge, giving us some great tidbits, some things that are fantastic. He's a great Game of Thrones person. I love to bounce these conversations off of. So Eric, man, where can people find you, my friend?
Oh yeah, well you can find me at Eric Thorpe Reviews on YouTube and Instagram. And also one thing I wanted to mention, you'll be able to find me in December in LA. There's going to be, I don't know if any of you guys know about this. I just got my tickets this week. There's going to be a Game of Thrones fan convention, like the first official one put on by HBO and Warner Brothers.
Nice.
So I'm making the trip to LA for that also in December 9th to 11th.
That's awesome, man.
Kit Harington's gonna be there.
Oh my goodness, gotta get an autograph, like man.
They haven't advertised it that well, but I meant to bring that up the last few weeks, and I finally got my tickets for it this week. So yeah,
Kit Harington, Jon Snow himself.
Oh, sounds like I'm going. I'm gonna check it out as soon as we get out of here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Johnny, you're close by, and then Skylar, you're like right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near. It's going to be my first like big kind of solo trip. I'm just going by myself. Couldn't get any friends to cough up the money to go. But
hey man, I'm gonna need to see the vlog, man. You're gonna have to vlog that and give us some good tidbits on what you, and especially I would love to see if you get that autograph from Jon Snow, man.
Oh, actually, well, you buy that ahead of time, and I did. So buy an autograph and a photo op.
That's awesome, man.
And
that is awesome.
Yeah, he's the only one I got a photo op with. It was funny because he's the only like super big one going, right? Like there's no Peter Dinklage or Emilia Clarke or anything.
Yeah.
But
he got a show coming out too, so that makes sense.
But like all the other people, their autographs are like not too much money, and then there's Jon Snow's, there's just like more than double.
Right, understandably so.
But I'm like, that's the one I want.
True King of the North.
Ooh, these prices.
But so if anyone, especially if any of you guys end up going, we should meet up.
Link up. Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Mac, we couldn't get you last week. but we got you this week, and we got you for almost damn near the whole show. And you came. I'm impressed, Mac. You're a good Viserys fan. You go hard for your king. You're doing a good job of doing so. He's a good guy, Mac, but he's still not the
He's
best
the kind of
king.
king
But
I want to
anyway,
be under. I'm just
there you go.
saying.
There you go,
That's my
Mac.
king.
Well, tell us about the queen of your channel and where people can find your content.
I'm the queen of my channel. I just came back from a really cool quilt show, and all that is up. And I've got little shorts and things so you can see snippets of the cool quilts that were there. Check me out. I've got a couple more things coming up for the Halloween season. And so if you guys want to see me get crafty, come on and hang out. You can find me at all the social medias at MA Couture Crafting.
Yes. And last but certainly not least, with the GOAT behind him coming in with the hot takes and the great opinions on all this stuff that we talked about tonight, my man Skylar, man. Where can people find you?
You guys can find me on all the socials at Skylar_writer, like you see on there. I'm on Twitter, TikTok, all of them, Instagram, everything. YouTube, I keep saying this, but I'm going to finally work up the nerve. It's coming. I'm hoping to have some updates for y'all next show. But yeah, you can also check out my bylines on blacknerdproblems.com. Also have some older bylines on parleymagazine.com as well. Yeah, and hopefully one day you guys will be reviewing something that I was a part of writing. So
yes, sir.
I don't know. We'll see.
Awesome.
And also, I just checked out them ticket prices, Eric. Bruh. What?
They got an arm and a leg. Got to buy. Got to
listen.
sell some dragons to go to it.
I knew about it back when it was going to be in Vegas originally. Before
Can you share your screen, Skylar? Are you computer?
How do I do that on here?
Is there a share,
share
option on your end? I'm just curious on what the prices are.
It was actually going to be in Vegas back in February, and then COVID got worse again, and they delayed it, and I thought it was not going to happen, and I was like, I'm not going to go. And then they announced they're adding Kit Harington, and it's like, okay.
Gotta go now.
Yeah, and I was sort of even planning a different trip with a friend who was gonna go with me to that, and then he ended up getting married and not talking to me.
Eric, what city are you in? Eric, what city are you in? What city are you coming out of in December?
Oh, I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, you're coming to a different country.
Yeah, it's a big trip.
I was trying to figure out the weather. I don't
You
know
are
the
the
weather
North.
in Canada. I don't know the weather in Canada.
Literally the north, yeah.
I don't know what to do with that in December. I don't know.
Well, it's probably
cold.
To be snowy.
Is it gonna be snowy? So you're coming out of the snow? Well,
I mean, it might. I don't know. It gets later every year. It's probably more like January when the really heavy snow hits. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I'm
come
trying
on down
to share
to
my
75
screen.
degrees.
Am I doing it for you?
No. It's
in
saying
LA.
Chrome has lost permission to capture my screen. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so you found the website though, because even the website's hard to find. Sometimes I don't know. I swear I don't even remember how I found out about it. I was reading
somebody else wants to share.
And it came up, and ever since then I'm whenever I bring it up, nobody else knows about it. But it's it's the first official one. It's being put on by Warner Brothers and HBO.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look over here and see what we got.
That's still
Hope
cool.
it's good. I don't really know what to expect.
There we go.
So you got okay.
Oh my goodness!
You see, you're
$1,900.
What is the Iron Throne package?
Whoa!
What comes in that?
Yeah, what? I'm probably.
You get to go every day.
That's how they
You get
pay for them dragons right there.
I'm about to see what comes in the package.
Every
'cause now I
episode.
got to
I got
know.
the Iron Throne one,
Let's
not
see.
the front row,
Best
but I got
reserved
the
seats,
second.
King's Landing
tier
Theater.
one.
Let's see, complimentary in-person autographs with Theon and
Eric, I might have to meet you at the
Who wants
Starbucks
who
across
wants
the
to
street.
meet with Theon.
Yeah,
At the what?
me too.
dance party, half-hour panel with special
Oh, man.
guests, priority lines.
Yeah, no, there's hotels and stuff they recommend. Oh man, yeah, it'd be cool if someone I actually knew showed up. We could meet up.
You know what?
Nice.
You know what? And
I have a picture.
Single day not that bad though.
Also, I did.
No.
Yeah, single day.
There's
What y'all got for 30 minutes? What y'all got for 2 hours?
Yeah, there's reserved seating you have to pick in the theater area where I guess there's going to be a panel.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be probably a couple panels, and it did look like a lot of them were starting to go. So I don't know.
Wait.
I'm not sure if it was just the section I was in, but yeah, if you do want to go,
Interesting. Okay.
I will
Well,
say, I got a chance to do the Game of Thrones experience at what was that, Comic-Con?
Mhm.
And if it's the same throne, that throne is sick. Like to see it,
Oh,
it'd be it
mhm.
is
like
just
the
to get
House
a
of the
picture.
Dragon thing they just
Yeah,
did this
just
year?
to get a
Yeah.
picture on the throne is super cool. Super cool.
I have like one on it was like the day of, I remember the premiere of the last season in a mall nearby me. They had like a whole ad for like to get certain package with HBO, and they had a thing with the throne you could sit on, and it had like the map of Westeros on the floor. So I have a picture of me on that one.
Nice.
But yeah, there's Kit Harington's prices, and then you compare them to everyone else.
How much is Kits?
Yeah.
Kits is
250 for a
250,
photo.
and
But
then
it's really
225 for
embarrassing to
autograph.
like just like so you guys can see
Wow.
the
Look
money.
at Bron. They're the king,
Wow.
the king of Westeros, Bron.
Hold door.
75, 60. Hold the door. At the,
Oh, that hurt me.
Oh, Joffrey's gonna be there. What?
That's nice.
Yeah.
I thought he quit.
Who? I
acting.
thought who wants to take a picture with him?
I mean, I'm sure he's
Nice.
a wonderful person though.
Oh wow, they got a portrait there, and then
This is pretty
wow.
cool. I like
Yeah,
what they
yeah,
have.
yeah.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice.
That's a nice
Yeah,
little
very
lineup.
cool.
It's nice.
You know
Yeah,
what?
I'm a little surprised that George R. R. Martin's not going to be there because he's like pretty big with cons and
With
stuff.
cons, yeah.
He needs to be at home
Probably a
writing the
special
next
guest.
book.
Right, I was
That's
saying
what he needs to do.
But he was
He'll
just
need to
that
lead a
comment-
house.
Wait, so I guess Mac, did you see like the panel and stuff there, or was it like just the outside part you went to for Comic-Con?
What was it? What are those things called? Not experiences. What do you call those things? I never know the name of the things. No. The experience. It's like another word for
Like a
experience.
3D kind of
Yeah,
thing?
it was like I think I saw videos of it. Like
It was like they were LARPing.
Landing,
It was
Mhm.
so yeah. You go into King's Landing and then you
It's
go
like
you get the
through.
dragon egg.
And then you get to play with the dragon egg. I don't know why I never
Wow.
posted that vlog because I
It's
totally
like
have
a-
the vlog of doing it. I have the
Mm.
dragon egg, then you get to keep going, and then you get to take a picture on the throne, and the throne is just in person. It's massive.
It's the actual throne too.
It's the
Oh,
one
yeah,
that
no,
it's the king, not the Game of Thrones throne, but the throne that we're currently seeing. The one that we're
Oh,
seeing right
dang.
now
all the swords around
with
it,
all the
right?
swords. Yep,
So
I'll
it's a
send you a picture. I'll show
liability.
you. I'll
I'm
show you a
still
picture.
waiting for like someone to just like accidentally like fall on one of those.
That's what I'm saying.
Man, it's
They
And
had
then,
him going up the
that's,
stairs. It's cool.
That's the origin. How they're like, okay, we gotta like not have the swords all around. This is too
Right.
dangerous.
People
Yeah.
die.
Yeah, because it was craziness. They're
Well,
everywhere.
guys, I am
You know
gonna
what?
wrap this thing up.
Oh yeah, sorry, I made
Oh,
that.
really,
No, you
really
guys are
quick.
good. Look,
Really,
y'all,
really
y'all
quick,
can
Eric
keep,
or Elliot.
keep,
I don't want to. I
no,
don't want.
you're fine.
I don't need to step
I'm gonna
on
end
you.
the stream, but I think you guys can still communicate or conversate.
Okay,
I gotta take
yeah.
this down. What were you gonna say, Skylar?
I just wanted to tell you real quick.
what's up, man?
In case I don't know, you might already know this, but
Mhm.
maybe there's going to be media passes to this thing,
Oh,
and
yeah.
maybe that could be a way to get in. If you go like through that channel or whatever. I don't know. I'll see what I can find out, but that might be a way because God knows I ain't got no
Activation.
$1,500.
Professionals
Yeah.
and media.
Always
Yeah.
coming through.
Yeah, you could be coming
Yeah,
as
no, I
media
mean-
because they want YouTubers and people like that to be a part of
Right.
stuff like this. So it gives them that authentic cred or whatever.
Mhm.
So that's a way. I'm just putting that out
Yeah,
there.
no,
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
all have like bigger channels than me, so you probably could. I don't think I could. So I think I
You
need
never
to spend the dough.
know.
You'd be surprised.
You never know. They be wanting
Yeah.
micro influencers and stuff all the time for things. They really do.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
but,
guys,
I don't
again-
know. Well, I got my tickets. I think they're non-refundable.
Yeah. It was like that's my savings, my mortgage for a
They are
house,
not- I'll tell you now, they're
my kids'
non-refundable
tuition.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm still living at home, so I'm. This feels like
Good night,
the
Kimmy.
time where I'm gonna have the most money I'm gonna have for a while. So it
Yeah.
seemed like a good
Yeah.
time to kind of do a
Good
solo
investment.
trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I'm definitely
guys-
down to meet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Do it, guys. Team up, link up.
All right.
Give us the content. when
Thor
we gotta
out.
Go out there. Yeah, I got this man is wilding. He's biting my foot right now.
Uh-huh.
For myself, G, Meg, who was on earlier, my man Johnny, Eric, Mac, and Skylar. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, once this video is finally uploaded, all the information will be in the description. I will see you guys next week, talking episode 7, and hopefully we won't lose any more characters. But we know this is Game of Thrones. We're gonna probably have to say goodbye to some characters. But